with some audio. Jeremy Renner can be heard moaning in pain in the background of the 911 call that his neighbor made after the Avenger star was crushed by a snowcat. TMZ shared the audio yesterday in which a caller can be heard saying, someone's in front of my house and they got run over by a snowplow. He's been crushed. Let's play some of this case. Where is this?
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually going to put it here in the stack. That way, if you want to pause it, you can pause it. So you can just, hit that Z1 button.
Okay, so, yeah, we've had some technical issues, but this is the audio. Here we go.
All right. Stay still. Okay, what's the address? I need the address of the emergency, please.
I told you.
Help on the way. I just had to verify it. What is the phone number that you were calling from?
Immediately. Someone's been run over by a snowcat. Hurry.
Okay, what is the phone number that you're calling from, just in case we get disconnected? Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
I don't know. Someone's in front of my house on the ground. They got run over by a snowcat. He's been crushed.
Okay, we have...
10 paramedics, ambulance.
Everyone's on the way right now, okay? Just stand...
Listen to me.
Can you hear him in the background there?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, God, that's chilling.
You might want to get a life flight out here immediately.
Okay. Where is he bleeding from?
I don't know. I can't tell. His head. Oh. Easy. It's on the inside of me.
Okay. Does it look like the bleeding is under control on his head?
Okay. He says he's got ribs issues.
Okay.
On his right side.
You can hear him,
Yes,
like
he
he's,
can barely...
I mean, it's got to be so hard to breathe and speak when you've got ribs crushed like that.
You said, and I think it's spot on, had he been on pavement, the snow had to save his life.
Absolutely.
Because it cushioned it a bit.
All right, still about 40 more seconds.
Yeah, he got crushed up on his right side.
Like up near his right chest?
Yeah, his right chest and the upper torso.
He's pretty
his ribs. It looked like
the neighbor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and also the 911 people are trained to.
No, I know, but like listen to him the way he's like, yeah, it's crushed.
Yep,
like he just sounds.
He's got a head wound as well. Okay. Just keep this on you. Can you give me an ETA?
It's hard to give an ETA just because the snow on the mountain. I don't know how quick they're able to go.
Wow.
His breaths are getting shorter, so please.
Breaths are getting shorter.
Shallow breath.
Okay.
A lot of pain. He's conscious.
Okay.
We got him covered in blankets. His head's covered. Wow. He'll be drifting off.
Oh my God.
Is he starting to kind of drift off into sleep?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow.
I had to make it the level. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You guys ever have to call 911 before?
Yes.
Rochelle did while Carter's friend was having a seizure.
Okay.
And I was tending to him, and she was on the phone with him. But it's
there was a car accident in front of my house. I had to do it for.
But I was during the 911 call was screaming.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's turning blue. He's turning blue. I'm like, I had zero calm whatsoever.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, if that, I was thinking of me in that situation. There'd
be two 911 calls, one for that person and one for you.
Yeah.
I would be out of my mind. Like I don't know that I would be able to be calm enough to give them the information.
Wow.
I'm a big fan, Mr. Renner.
Stop it. No. How long did it take the ambulance to get
That's
there?
what I was wondering. I don't know that because, like
she was
said,
airlifted
you're
out, was
you're
he
talking.
not?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the story was and when they arrived. But like she said, there was there's snow. You're talking about feet and feet of snow in that area.
That's why he was Renner would plow the other homes.
I'm curious as to how long it took before he eventually got aid. So, but anyhow, he's back home now. It's amazing.
It's freaking amazing.
And once he gives an interview, once he's well enough to give an interview and recount all this, I'm really interested to find out what all went on. Moving on to some other things, Kim Kardashian. Dropped nearly $200,000 on a necklace that was once owned by Princess Diana.
Thank you.
Page 6 Style confirmed on Wednesday that the reality star spent $197,000 on the former royal's iconic amethyst and diamond cross necklace.
So she wears Marilyn's gown, gets Princess Diana's jewelry.
Yeah.
She's also got, I think, jewels from Elizabeth Taylor as well. I heard on the story this morning.
She has George Washington's colostomy bag.
According to
made of lamb.
Sotheby's press release, Kardashian's rep beat out 3 other bidders with a price more than double its pre-auction estimate. The auction house wrote on Instagram that the Atala cross,
it's
created
huge.
in the 1920s, was one of Princess Diana's favorite pieces. It is understood that she is the only person to have ever worn the necklace, and it has not been seen in public since her death in 1997.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so she snagged it, and she will be wearing it. I can guarantee you that. Saw this story this morning. This is terrible because I can't believe this is going to end well. English actor Julian Sands, known for his work in such films as films and TV series as Room with a View, 24, Oxford Blues, is missing in Southern California. A spokesperson for the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Coroner Department confirmed Wednesday that Sands was first reported missing Friday evening after not returning from a hike. Search and rescue teams have been scouring the Baldy Bowl area of Mount Baldy.
You just had a story on this.
Yesterday in the Bizarre File, I had a story of a woman who died. She fell down a slope.
And she was a practiced hiker.
At Mount Baldy. And it's in the San Bernardino Mountains since that time. Ground crews were initially deployed in the search, but pulled back Saturday evening due to the risk of avalanche and adverse weather conditions. The search has continued in the days since via helicopter and drone when weather conditions have permitted visibility. A ground search will resume when it is deemed safe for the search and rescue crew to return to the area. Sands' disappearance came in the midst of severe weather and rainfall in the Southern California region. I've always liked this guy.
So have I. He's a very good actor.
Always enjoyed what he brings to the screen.
But at this point, days missing?
Since Friday, man. That's not good. He first rose to prominence with supporting roles in 1984 films Oxford Blues and The Killing Fields. His breakout role came a year later in A Room with a View. His other credits include Leaving Las Vegas, Arachnophobia, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, TV Smallville, and Banshee, among others. So I hope they find him alive. It's just not looking good for that long to be out in the elements. Yeah. All right, so this is a weird little story here. Of course, you remember Tiger King, Joe Exotic, Carol Baskin. One of the plot progressions was the fact that Baskin's ex-husband, Don Lewis, was declared formally dead in 2002 after going missing in 1997. Carol's arch nemesis, Joe, has always outspokenly accused Baskin of murdering Lewis, allegedly by feeding him to her own tigers at her big cat rescue. Now... It turns out Lewis has been found alive in Costa Rica.
Stop, come on.
But the discovery is now just going viral over a year later. So this information apparently came out over a year ago.
And that's where he would travel to, right? Like that was known.
That's where she said he was going, I thought.
Yes. So during a November 2021 interview with ITV's This Morning talk show, Baskin revealed that her ex is indeed alive and well. At the time, Baskin reportedly told ITV, one of the really exciting things that came out of this Tiger King 2 is that they produced a letter from Homeland Security, and it says a special agent in charge with the FBI and Homeland Security reached out to the sheriff's detective, Jorge Fernandez, which means that this had to have happened before 2002 because Homeland Security wasn't even around in 2002.
Well, Homeland Security has a whole Tiger King division.
She said, I didn't think he was capable of supporting himself. He took about $1 million down to Costa Rica. I had agreed to let him do that so he could prove to himself that he could make a living. As for what happened to the money in question, Baskin said she attempted to recover it, only to find that there was just $80,000 left because the investments he had made were so bad. Now, Lewis has not made a public statement about the fact that he isn't 6 feet under, nor does he appear to have returned to the United States.
Right.
While Baskin maintains that the American government is aware that Lewis is alive and living in Costa Rica, he's reportedly still legally documented as deceased. I don't know if I believe this or not.
I think this, I agree. It's too sketchy.
Yeah.
Well, and also he has a family, so he had an ex-wife and daughters that were concerned and speaking out against her, saying we believe she did something.
Wouldn't he contact them?
Well, and so are his daughters okay with it? Like, have they seen him? Have they talked to him?
I do not know. So we will keep an eye on this.
Yes.
And see if anything
Or
else
as it develops.
comes up for this. Marissa, I did not ask for this. Steve, did you send over audio of the singer from the Plain White Tees to Marissa?
I believe I sent over the video.
I saw the video.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna read this story. I would have put it out in music
I almost
news.
cried in the
I did cry a little bit.
It's adorable.
A young cancer patient named after the hit song Hey There Delilah got the surprise of a lifetime when Plain White Tees singer Tom Higginson showed up to her hospital room for a one-on-one performance. It was posted on TikTok. The video shows the 8-year-old Delilah's reaction and is now putting smiles on faces around the globe. Higginson said that when he was approached to visit the little girl in Los Angeles, it wasn't a question of it, but when, or if, but when. So it's cool because they made a video for the little girl of him about to sing the song to her, and they were showing, her parents were showing it to her. And he goes, hey, hi, I'm Tom. I wrote this song, and I know it's your song, so I'd like to perform it for you. And he goes, wait a minute, I have a better idea. And then he comes walking into the room with the guitar. And
her little face. She's so shocked.
Yeah, it was released over 17 years ago, but now it's being played over and over once again because of this. Delilah's 8 years old. She lives in Los Angeles during her 4-year battle with cancer. She's relied on Hey There, Delilah to lift her spirits. And she's Higginson said it was pretty magical for me. She kept saying that she's so blessed, and that was so sweet. And to make it happen, Higginson was approached by Isaiah Garza, who is known on TikTok for helping strangers throughout random acts of kindness. And it's something Higginson says that he's grateful that he was a part of, and said it was better than any performance he's ever done.
All
right, yeah, I would like to hear some of this. Go ahead.
What's up, Delilah? It's Tom from Plain White Tees. I hear you're a big fan of our song, Hey There, Delilah, so figured that I would play it for you right now. So here we go. Actually, you know what? I got a better idea. Hang on a second. Hi, Delilah. Hey there, Delilah. What's it like in New York City? I'm 1,000 miles away, but girl, tonight you look so pretty. Yes, you do. Times Square can't shine as bright as you. I swear it's true. Oh, it's what you do to me. Hey
She's
there,
singing along.
Delilah,
Singing along.
here's to you.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, Delilah!
Oh, my goodness. Just absolutely warms your heart, rips your heart out, does all of those things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Phenomenal. So,
Wonderful they did that.
Yep, most definitely. All right, a couple other things, and we'll move on to some clips here in a second. Ben Savage is running for Congress. According to TMZ, the Boy Meets World alum is looking to represent California's 30th district, which includes Los Angeles and cities immediately to its north. Do you need a tissue, buddy?
I'm good.
Is he picking his nose?
He
loves Boy Meets World.
He's wiping his eyes. He loves Boy Meets World. No, I think it was the Hey There, Delilah. Yeah, I think that's what did it. So
You're just thinking about Mr. Feeney.
Oh, he was actually being like sensitive. I legitimately thought he was picking his nose, and that's why you were offering him a tissue.
No, he was crying over there.
Aw.
He's a sensitive guy.
Yeah.
I thought it was
The Boy Meets World joke.
It's good.
okay.
Oh my God.
So if
We're all over the place. One's crying, one's
He
laughing.
was so learned, Mr. Feeney.
Show was set in Philadelphia.
was it?
Yeah.
I never watched Boy Meets World other than a passing glance to see Topanga and go,
my
wow.
God.
That young lady is gorgeous.
And she hates us, right?
She hung up on us. I think.
Not a fan.
Oh, she loves us.
I don't think so.
It's like, yeah, absolutely.
All we did was point out that there was a report she was making out with another girl
There were
at
photos
McFadden's.
posted.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway. It's got Casey upset, so we're moving on. Anyhow, if Ben Savage is successful, he would be taking Representative Adam Schiff's U.S. congressional seat, assuming Schiff makes a run for Senate or for Senator Dianne Feinstein's Senate seat. So he's announcing that he wants to run for Congress.
I know we're pressed for time, but William Daniels, who played Mr. Feeney, his wife just wrote a book, Preston. They have had.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. They had this open relationship that she didn't really care for.
Yeah.
And,
but he loved it.
But he loved it. He could bang whoever the hell he wanted to.
Of course he did.
All right, moving on to a couple other quick stories. This is fun. Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things understands why his co-star Millie Bobby Brown called him a lousy kisser during a lie detector test for Vanity Fair. The It star told the Drew Barrymore show that he's fine with it. He said, my first on-screen kiss was with Millie, but I didn't know how to approach that in any way. There was no like, hey, you're going to do this thing, and then at the end you're going to move in and kiss her. And so I just kind of like headbutted her when I did it.
Yeah,
so
it's your first kiss.
that made him a lousy kisser.
Yeah.
In Millie Bobby
They
Brown's
should make out
eyes.
now to see how he's improved.
Yeah. See if you've come along. Alec Baldwin will find out today if he's being charged in the fatal shooting on the set of Rust in 2021.
And he's hoping he doesn't get charged, right?
I would think so. God, I can't believe that was in 2021. It does not seem like it was that long ago.
Yeah, because it was when the story broke, my head spun around. What?
Yeah. Variety reports that Mary Carmack Altwies, New Mexico's first judicial district attorney, will announce a decision at 9 a.m. Oh, it says Mountain Time today, so we'll find out later on. Let's see. Get ready for Megan 2.0. According to E! News, Universal Pictures has officially ordered a sequel to the horror film. It'll hit theaters in January 2025, so they have given it the green light, and why not?
Of course, it was a hit.
Yep.
We've been on a really good horror run. A lot of good horror movies coming out. You know, the great thing about them is that they don't cost a lot, but when they hit, they make a ton of money.
Yeah. Susan Sarandon is supportive of the stage adaptation of Thelma and Louise, currently being workshopped with Amanda Seyfried and Evan Rachel Wood. The film's star told Variety on Tuesday, "I think it's fabulous. They're both great. And I hope they have as much fun and enjoy each other and love each other as much as Gina Davis and I did."
I really hope they fail miserably.
Amanda Bynes, this is interesting, is ready to make her first public appearance post-conservatorship. Deadline reports that the actress will join former All That castmates Danny Tamborelli, Kel Mitchell, and Lori Beth Denberg at 90s Con for the show's largest reunion since the Nickelodeon series wrapped 18 years ago.
The show was very popular, right?
Yeah. And
I'd be curious to see how that plays out.
I hope that she's in a better place because there are times when she seems really, really vacant.
Yes.
The convention runs March 17th to the 19th, and that is in Hartford, Connecticut. And then one last piece of great news. Ted Lasso will return to Apple TV Plus this spring, they announced.
All right.
For Christ's sake.
Yeah. Now, last I heard that this was going to be the final season.
I've heard nothing that has changed that. That is that stinks.
Yeah.
But if it wraps up wonderfully, then we'll just accept it for the gem it has been.
I got to believe they would branch out and do something else. At least take maybe some of those characters and move on to another.
Don Lasso.
Don Lasso?
Yeah.
Okay. But I was thinking maybe, Roy Kent gets his own show or something like that. So the streamer announced yesterday that the Emmy-winning comedy series will return for season 3 in spring of 2023, though a specific date was not released as of yet. All right, we're ready for clips now. All right, where are we going here? Case, where are we playing it?
Right up here.
All right, thank you. That 90s show, the spinoff of cult classic That 70s Show, revisits life with the original cast 16 years into the future. And here Mila Kunis jokes about being married to Ashton Kutcher, a.k.a. Kelso. Here we go.
I called BS. My character would be with Fez. And I was like, why are you and I together? And also, he was married when 70s ended to Shannon Elizabeth, and he was a cop. And now we're married with a kid, and I was like, I don't know about this.
Thing sucks.
That 90s show is out today on Netflix if you want to check that out. Here's the next clip. The Sun follows Peter, whose busy life with new partner Beth and their baby are thrown into disarray when his ex-wife turns up with their teenage son. And in this clip, Hugh Jackman discusses his intense interest in this project.
So I had this awkward moment where I emailed the director because I felt an urgency to play the part. I just had that. It's a rare thing to happen. It's one you look for. I emailed him. I said, sorry if you're dancing with somebody else. If you are, I'm not the kind of guy to cut in, but if you're not, I would love to play the part.
Take his pants off.
The Sun is...
That's him, right?
That is him,
That's him getting the role.
Yeah. The Sun is in theaters on Friday, by the way. All right, there you go. Your entertainment report for Thursday morning. I hope you could handle it.
It was a lot.
A lot of
It's very entertaining, and sometimes people don't have that tolerance.
They don't. They do not. All right, you know what I'd like to do? I want to give away some movie passes. We have Knock at the Cabin, a screening coming up. It is not until the 31st, so it's a week from this coming Tuesday. It's a little ways off, but I'll take callers 10 and 11 at 215-263-WMMR. The screening is going to be at the PFS East, and it will be at 7 p.m. So if you are available and want to go to that, call us right now. Callers 10 and 11. We are going to give you those movie passes. We have a few people on the program this morning, including Stephen A. Smith. He's got a new book out. He's stopping into the studio a little over an hour from now. So we'll take a break and we'll come back in just a moment. Stay with us, friend. We won't be gone long.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR. The Preston and Steve Show.
I'm going to bring it back to this. They were like, it was so enlightening to hear you guys talk about a female-based product, the menstrual cup, and not fart jokes and porn.
Here we
But
are.
we're back.
And we just did it all.
Don't worry.
We did it all.
Absolutely.
Hey, this might be the perfect opportunity. All right, Marissa, I sent you guys this instructional video.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday. Did you watch it?
I heard you watching it in the office, and I could hear it, and I'm like, what? It's got to be some sort of sex toy or something.
So it's this bizarre product, and I sent it to all of you guys, and the subject line I used was instructional video. Please watch. Nobody got back to me. Like not one person responded to me, and I'm like,
yeah.
Did I offend Marissa and Kathy? Well, I know I didn't offend Kathy because she was in the same room. But
that's a terrible feeling when you send out something you think, oh my God, did I cross the line?
Right.
And I wanted to watch it,
and
you were making such a thing about it that I wanted to not be distracted, and I never got around to it.
Marissa, see if you can grab the audio from that, and I don't know if it's fully. If we can play it or not, but there are specific body parts. I don't think it talks about insertion or anything like that, but it is this quote-unquote massage piece of machinery that is one of the most involved-looking things I've ever seen. If it's indeed made for, it has to be.
Back here is the carburetor.
Oh my God,
yeah, it's complicated.
Oh
It is.
yeah, and it is there for pleasure. Right? You know, if you make it all the way through, okay, you know, because things go in things and other things go in other things, and
there are some things that and we've talked. I remember one time we did. I think we were doing an appearance at maybe Brisquet's store or whatever when it existed, and there were things in there I would have thought were actually involved in construction that were that there's no way that is a sexual thing.
But Kath, when you were talking about sending things to people, and I have done that, I've sent things to you, and I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. And then I go, oh wait, no, she has sent me the picture of that guy sitting on the on the side of his bed
with his giant penis.
with his giant thing hanging out. I'm like, okay, I think I might be safe here.
I love when they will insert. They will have like a dignitary at some meeting, like a parliament, and they will insert that picture in one of the frames behind him.
Dude, the latest one, it was a COVID test.
Yep.
And I sent it to Kathy. I'm like, dude, I think it came back positive, and she's like, dude, I got this like 3 days ago.
I didn't say that. I sent you a screenshot of the text that Preston sent me
I had already
said,
sent
I think
it to
I
her.
tested positive.
There was only one person I wanted to send that to, and that was Kathy. Yeah, listen, I bought Kathy for one of her birthdays like a butthole polisher one time. Right?
Yeah,
I thought it was nice.
Right?
Yeah. So you can't cross the line with her.
No.
I don't think so.
No, there's. I don't. Yes, I don't get offended by anything. I don't think it's all funny, but I don't. Right. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I don't get offended if you get me a butt plug.
Like I've lost. I traded in, and I've always said this. I say of offensive things all the time. I do not have the right to get offended. You know, it's just it's my deal.
Right.
If I dish it out, I have to be able to take it.
Right.
But if Kathy ever wanted to like get us fired,
Oh my God!
Jesus. Oh yeah, there's so much ammo. It's not even.
I mean,
Then all you have to do
remotely
is
funny.
show the text from her on the phone.
And
You'll be reinstated.
I will also
my mind.
I will also think of the time that you put a Sharpie in my butt crack, and you don't remember that, but I do. I'm
No.
like, yes.
Did I draw on your butt?
No. I was like bent over, and my crack was showing, and you were like, bloop.
wow. Okay.
Do we have it over the audio?
No, I don't. Are you editing it?
It might
Marissa?
have.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's you don't need to. We don't need to hear all of it. It's just I want to get the tone of this guy that is doing the narration for it. That is actually the instruction. It's like he's being as serious as you can possibly be about it.
I love that.
And talking about this stuff that's just like
And
It's like these things. So we never play these fully, but
Dad, can I talk to you for a minute?
yeah.
there's a much longer piece of that. But I love. And
What is the exact product?
I don't
It's like
even
a pleasure
know.
device. It's something you buy for, and
It's
there's
got to be extremely expensive because it's super
I
complicated.
was curious as to what the cost was, but it's for the front and the back and the underneath.
Simultaneously?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
is
the
it
thing
like,
that goes
is it
in the
like a
back-
Sibian?
The thing that goes in the back, no, it's like nothing you've ever seen before.
Is it a revolution in home entertainment?
Like I can't even explain it.
Okay, so remember when we were talking about packing a flounder before?
Yes,
Okay.
uh-huh.
So there's essentially this thing that packs a flounder for you, but it's there to
here we
stimulate things.
Oh.
So it,
Okay.
But it's just wild that, like, Press, you talk about the narration, but like somebody also had to animate this.
yes,
like,
there's a professional animator with it too. Here, I'll play some of it.
Before using the Shinfly full coverage men's massager, all body parts in contact with the massager and the massager itself shall be fully cleaned.
Uh-huh.
After assembling the massager, lock the rear massage bar in the initial position, adjust the front massage bar to the maximum angle away from the body, and tie the belt at the waist.
There's a belt.
Smear
Okay.
the orange lubricant on the anus and surround.
Oh, you got to watch that one.
She missed that.
She missed that one.
It's okay.
I would say
The anus sensor. Yeah.
So
It is funny what we can and can't say because it's all technical terms.
it is.
It is.
You
But
know,
there are some. We get away with murder in so much.
And I
and
guess
skin,
Yeah.
the surrounding skin of the perineum, thigh, inside, and all surfaces of massage head in contact with the skin uniformly.
Okay, that's all we're gonna play.
So initially when I saw the picture of it, I thought it was one of those office chairs that you sit in that doesn't have a back to it, but it's actually a device that you wear. You can wear standing up. There's a pin on it like a grenade.
I would need the instructions for this device. What the hell?
This
happening?
you have seen nothing like this. I want to get one of these in the studio. Do they have a price?
No, but I'll bet you it's a few $1,000s. Look at this.
So
Wait, I'm sorry.
See, that wraps around.
is that supposed to go over your Johnson?
Oh, yeah.
And then it goes up and
There
down.
you go.
Watching the animation. But what I can't figure out is the seat part of it.
The seat looks like a ski boot.
It does. It looks like a ski boot.
So you sit on a ski boot.
Hey,
while it.
Without looking behind you, Steve, who do you think is in the studio now?
Bill?
Yes. He just came into the studio. He's shaking his head. He's
he
not
has
happy.
one of these.
it was his birthday on Sunday.
He came in to clarify.
he's going to let us know the price.
What do those things cost, Bill?
You should get one that instead of a motorcycle seat.
Bill, honestly, have you ever seen anything like this in your life?
You know, I'm in my office last night, long after you've gone.
Right.
I listened to the Kathy Menstrual Cup segment because I missed it live.
Right.
What'd you think? It's pretty straight ahead, right?
No,
There was look. It's like, well, I actually looked up. It's been so long since we've talked about FCC and the liability of obscenity and all of that stuff. It hasn't been in the conversation. I looked up the definition again, and I think you guys are dancing on that line because it has something to do with sexual or excretory activities and organs, which is what
There's nothing sexual about it. I mean, it's all
it deals with
biological, if anything.
It deals with a sexual organ.
Right. Yeah, like a Wurlitzer.
By my by Kathy's very apt description of what that does. Anyway, and you're doing this today. I'm like, I dumped the lubricant on the thing.
Yes, which we would
Okay, I
only.
got you.
Our agreement with you is always we'll swing for the fences and you excise what you think
Here.
is appropriate.
People are wondering what the name of it was. They're going to play the beginning, just it says the name of this.
Before using the Shinfly full coverage men's massager,
Shinfly full coverage men's massager.
full
So I
coverage.
need to imagine because so much of this is written and appears to be in Mandarin, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely an Asian product, I believe. But it's got subtitles, which brings us full circle to the conversation we started.
Says great for dads and grads.
Oh, jeez. Okay. All right. So today's discussion just kind of brought me back to those good old days where we're really working the dump buttons. But
good.
Yeah. So
By the
maybe
way,
a
Bill,
Preston
go ahead.
and Steve logo in the merch shop, in the rock shop. You know, we could make some money on this.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Clap on it.
Again,
And you could be the narrator. Bill's a great narrator, by the way.
Yeah.
He does wonderful narration.
I get off.
Wait, hang on. Let me sell.
All body parts in contact with the massager and the massager itself shall be fully cleaned.
I think you're better than this guy.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want from me. Santa's got to go.
All right, I'm gonna go.
Santa's got to go. All right, so you need to see this thing. You need to do a search on the. Hold on, what was the name of it?
I mean, it'd be easier to go out and get a girlfriend. than
Yes,
set this up.
By far.
Just putting this thing on, just all the straps and hooks and various things you need to put together to put this thing on your body is more work than going out and trying to get an actual relationship.
And what do you think? It's like, you're at the office. Can I come in? No!
Before using the Shinfly Full Coverage Men's Massager.
Shinfly Full Coverage Men's Massager. Marissa?
We're sharing it on all of our social media
Okay.
accounts,
All right.
so
You
can
got to
find the
see
link
this
there.
thing. There's nothing full-on graphic
No.
about
Everything
the
is,
animation, but I mean,
is
it's
suggested.
It's certainly suggested, but I've never seen anything like this product before.
I mean, there has to come a point about 3 minutes into using it where you just feel like the lowest scum on earth.
Or you finally found the
euphoric.
greatest thing
Yeah.
that's been created by man.
Honey, I want a divorce.
Wow. Okay. All right. Eddie Vedder is heading out on the road tomorrow night in support of his new solo set, Earthling. Vedder kicks off a 9-date run at New York City's Beacon Theater, although he played a surprise show last night, right, Nick?
He did, yeah. He was in a place just outside of New York City, and the Earthlings were with him, and that's Chad Smith and Josh Klinghoffer and a few other guys. And so there's a whole bunch of songs that I've never heard of that he did last night. And then, tomorrow night at the Beacon Theater, and then Friday night at the Beacon Theater. And I will be attending Friday night show.
Very
nice.
cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
While chatting with the New York Times, the Pearl Jam frontman recalled discussing his and the band's career with U2's Bono, who had very specific opinions and advice for Vedder.
What do you think about baloney?
He does.
I like it.
He recalled saying, I've had a conversation with Bono back in the day. He was suggesting that we needed to work harder and that you didn't want rock and roll to become a niche. And he said that when U2 makes a record, it's like they've got a racehorse and they don't want the horse to in the race. They want to win the race. And I said, we race the horse and then we let the horse run free. He said, I wasn't trying to
be honest, I don't know what you're talking about.
He said, I wasn't trying to be clever. That was the truth. And he was frustrated with me.
Do me a favor and put this device on. I think you're going to enjoy it. What is it? This part here goes over your manhood. This thing that looks like a ski boot just behind your nutsack. Now do a deep knee bend. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I see what you mean.
WMMR.
Thank you, Kathy. A little bit later this morning, sports aficionado Stephen A. Smith is going to be in our studio. He's got an appearance at the Free Library today at 1 o'clock. He's got a book out, so we will talk to him here in the studio a little bit later on this morning. But between now and then, one of the things I think we need to do is pay a visit to a learned institution.
Oh, yes.
The JSI, the Just Saying Institute.
The Just Saying Institute. Home of the new Flawless Radio Show Opening Research Center.
We definitely need research done into that.
There needs to be more work done in that.
Yeah, for those who missed it, we had a horrible opening of the show today. But,
Or a great one.
Yeah, or it was brilliant.
Or it was part of research.
Not really sure. The universities of Essex and Reading in the UK worked jointly to discover that strict sounding teachers were not as inspiring compared to nicer educators.
So strict-sounding teachers failed to inspire their students.
So essentially, nice teachers are better than mean teachers.
Of course.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Well,
the study.
I think in life you tend to gravitate towards people who are more pleasant, right?
Yeah, I would think so. But then there's people respond to tough love. I guess that's part of it. I don't know.
It also depends probably on the age.
Yes, so these are 10 to 16-year-olds.
Okay.
The study involved hundreds of them. They showed kids with strict teachers are more likely to rebel and less likely to reveal when they have a problem in school.
Hey, bro, I'd really like to rap about calculus with you.
Gentler, more supportive voices encourage a stronger student-teacher relationship. Students listened to recordings of 250 teachers, and they rated how the tone affected them.
Oh, where can I get those recordings for when I'm driving?
Right. Do you remember? I remember good and bad teachers. I remember my favorites and the ones I hated.
Yes,
too, most definitely.
The ones that I liked were more approachable, but held things together. Ones that I didn't like as well on the other side were ones who tried too hard to be your buddy.
So there was a teacher in junior high who had the rep. He was a social studies teacher. His name was Mr. Barden. And he, by far, ruled with an iron hand.
Oh, really?
And you feared Mr. Barden. Guess who got Mr. Barden in 8th grade? And I couldn't believe it. Or maybe it was 9th grade. But I remember it was 9th grade. When I remember seeing my schedule come out for that year, I'm like, oh, no.
Mr. Barden!
Like, silence was the strict rule in his classroom. He was the type where if you had your elbow up and, say, your chin on your fist like this, resting it, he would come up from behind and knock your arm out.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
And he carried around a stick.
Yeah.
And he would, call everyone people. Listen, people.
People.
And he had this really dry... He would use quiet as an intimidator. He would turn and without saying anything, dead quiet in the room and just look at you.
Oh, the worst.
And everybody knew because all the attention was on him and everybody knew you were getting that glare. He was tough. The funny part about it, my best friend Steve, I'll never forget this because he was in my class too, but we never socialized in class. You were not allowed to talk to other students. But my buddy Steve, they found out that Mr. Barden liked his booze.
Oh, yeah.
So Steve, on the last day of school, this is in 9th grade,
Steve.
left a bottle of scotch on his table.
What?
And Mr. Barden loved it.
Did he know it was from him?
No, Steve didn't say. And it was like a high quality one. It was called Pinch Scotch, which was not cheap. It was expensive. I need
Why
to
did
ask,
you do that the first day?
I need to ask Steve how he got that, who bought it for him. He had older siblings, so that was probably it. But he snuck in a bottle of booze and left it on his desk the last day of school.
You know that wasn't coincidental that you were in his class.
I know.
You were placed there.
Probably.
Because I was going to say, I can't remember any teachers that I disliked. Like, I never had that, like, oh my God, I got Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so. And I really, I was a good student. So I don't think
you were delivering the goods.
But I wasn't an issue in class. So I didn't need those strict teachers.
They were probably vying for you. Right?
I mean, probably. Steve, yes, I'm sure they were.
How do I get Kathy in my class?
I was just looking up one teacher that I had in high school to see if she was still alive because not only did I dislike her, everybody that ever took her class disliked her. And I don't want to rip her on air because I think that she is still alive. It's also interesting to me because I've reconnected with a teacher that I loved in high school. And he retired recently. His name is Mr. Eberly. He was the best. And it's really cool to know him a bit as an adult, and to hear his stories about students that came through his classes over the years.
Well, you guys recently surprised me, Casey, with my band teacher, Mr. Becker.
That was great.
Yeah.
And so after that on-air engagement, because he was a great teacher and I really liked Mr. Becker, I called him and had a nice conversation, and it was like you were saying, it was pretty wild to reconnect as an adult.
Yeah.
On that level, although I still called him Mr. Becker.
Of course you did, yes.
Yeah.
You're taught to respect your teachers.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he didn't say, hey, you can call me Chris. He didn't say that.
I don't want that. No. I want you to always fear me.
My mom was a teacher her whole career, and Steve, she told me not that long ago, she always loves hearing from former students, good and bad. Like, she likes reconnecting with them.
It's awesome.
And if it's something where they want to be a little critical of her, she's okay with that. She just likes hearing from students she had in the past.
So the one teacher that I had who was known to be volatile, also was the one who always put in for the most field trips. So it was like, all right, Mr. Harris, had a trigger temper. But, man, you were going all over the place. So I'm okay, we came down to Philadelphia, Mr. Harris.
He just hated kids.
He just hated kids.
He just wanted to get you guys out of the classroom.
I hate you all, but I love to travel. You're in here with me.
So according to the professor in charge of this, said teachers can provide a positive learning environment when they are thoughtful in how they used to use their tone of voice. So that's part of it.
Yeah. I honestly, all said and done, I had a bunch of really solid teachers. And I had a teacher who was, He was the one person when this is the teacher that asked the students to write down the grade that they thought they deserved.
Oh, yeah.
And I just wrote, act natural, your Singapore contact is dead. And he busted out laughing. And he knew I wasn't into the class and he wasn't going to take me out because of it.
Yeah.
But that was, most of them, even if they weren't that into it, they were cool, you know?
Yeah, that's cool. Good for you. All right, let's see. Another story from the Just Saying Institute. A study published in the journal Nutrients.
That's my favorite journal.
Found that men who consume energy drinks and sweetened coffees are at a higher risk of balding.
Oh, no.
I don't have to worry.
Men who drank one sweetened drink daily saw a 42% increase in their likelihood to lose hair compared with those who never drank sweet drinks.
So that's why soda now comes with a hairnet.
And so it should. Researchers studied 1,000 Chinese men between the ages of 18 and 45 over 4 months. However, these men tended to eat more fast food and fewer vegetables. Nutritional deficiencies and crash diets are a common cause of hair thinning and shedding.
Well, isn't the most dominant cause of hair loss your genetics?
I would think so. Yeah.
I mean, and it's on your mother's side, right? If your mother's father, your father-in-law, was bald, chances are.
But that's not the case in my family.
Really?
No, my grandfather died with a full head of hair, and both.
Where did he buy it?
Both my brothers. No, he.
Really?
Yep. Yeah.
It's not.
There's no.
There are
full head of
outliers.
hair, and my grandmother had perfect teeth.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh.
She died with all of her teeth.
Kathy, I wanted to ask about Dennis. So your husband has a shaved head. He's bald. If he grew hair back in, would he have pattern baldness?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
He would have like the peninsula, the
I don't
Dr.
even know
Phil.
that he could grow anything.
Oh, wow.
I would sit in the.
Boy, I would love to see what he looked like that.
Bruce Willis, Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Yeah.
I'd be at that level.
You'd be at that level?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would have the Bruce Willis thing.
Yeah.
But 3.
Kathy, tell Dennis just for fun to grow out his hair
No,
for
he
a
would
year.
never.
I want to see that.
Do you remember
I want to see that.
You remember the Seinfeld episode where the guy had been shaving his hair all along and grew his hair in and realized he was going bald and he started to panic. He's like, dude, you've been shaving your head all along.
You know who shaves their head, but I don't think they're actually bald? Kyle.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
No, I think Kyle has. Look at his beard.
know.
Look, his beard is robust.
I'm looking at his
Thinning.
hair.
It's probably thinning.
Maybe.
you can see a hairline that's
It's back a little bit. It's back, Casey.
it's disgusting.
Yeah, get in here, Kyle. I want to take a closer. Just come over here, over this way. You can use one of our mics. So, he's got the lagoon. In the back there, which is around your the crown of your head, where it thins out, and there's a spot where the hair goes away back there. So
Let it grow out, and you'll see it.
All right, yeah.
Okay.
All right, let it grow out.
I want you looking like Bon Jovi by the end of the year.
So there's receding, which is the front, and then you have that guy in the back.
The monk.
The monk, yes.
Yeah.
That's a better way to put it, exactly. So according to the study, hair follicle cells are the second fastest dividing cells in the body and require all the nutrients of a well-balanced, healthy diet if you want it to remain. Now, some people are more prone to it than others, and it's just going to happen naturally. But if you aren't inclined, drinking energy drinks and a lot of sweetened stuff may cause that to speed up.
They say the number 3 most common situation for hair loss is having it ripped off in an amusement park ride.
Oh,
that
that'll
can be, a contributor to losing hair.
Lost it in a roller coaster.
Okay, what else do we have here? All right, I thought this was pretty cool. Health Grades, the leading online resource for comprehensive information about physicians and hospitals, has announced the recipients of their 2023 America's Best Hospitals Awards and state rankings. Where is that? There we go. Thank you. I want to turn that down. So anyhow, they have released
my bad.
their awards. It's all over the goddamn place. The site's
better this way.
Annual recognition of the nationwide leaders in overall clinical excellence in the top-ranked hospitals for specialty care by each state offers a comprehensive look at healthcare's options, and they use the MedPAR data spanning from 2019 to 2021, representing 3-year estimates for Medicare patients, and so I've got the ones in our area that are the tops. That's why I bring
the
this up.
the top medical facilities in this area.
Yes,
and we have a plethora
by state.
By state.
Delaware, the top hospital is Christiana Hospital in Newark, Delaware.
Well respected.
In New Jersey, it's Morristown Medical Center, Morristown, New Jersey, and then Overlook Medical Center, which is in Summit, New Jersey. Do you guys know where Summit, New Jersey is?
New Jersey, right?
That's
north,
where?
yeah.
It's up high.
Okay. And then I'm happy to announce that in Pennsylvania, all of the hospitals are in Eastern PA.
Whoa! Hey!
So, and this is a big-ass state.
Sayonara.
Yeah.
Sayonara, everyone.
So Chester County Hospital is considered the top one.
Where? I don't even know where
Chester
that
County
is.
It's
Hospital?
in Westchester.
It's in Westchester.
Yeah.
Yep. Then you have Lancaster General Hospital in Lancaster, PA. Lankenau Medical
Lankenau.
Center. Lankenau.
Yeah.
Right down the road.
Yep.
That's where I went after I fainted.
Me too.
All of my children were born.
We're in the Fainters Club.
Hey.
In Wynwood. So, that's where we sent intern Joe.
Yes,
that's right.
When we shot hot sauce in his butt.
Yes. Anything
From
that
hot
bad
sauce in
happens,
your butt to
the fainting,
to episodes.
and the Casey
Wait,
kids.
when that happened, what? I mean, I know obviously he was in pain, but what actually did they do for him?
They flushed it out.
Yeah.
Just like-
Essentially. Yeah, probably gave him some ibuprofen and said, here, son.
He had to drive himself to the hospital.
The best part was he showed up to the ER and he goes in and tells him what the problem is. He's like, this is weird. He's hot sauce in the crack of my butt. And the person working there goes, you're Joe, aren't you?
So great. Did he have makeup on at the time, or is that a
We
different?
put clown makeup on his face. I hope he washed it off. I think he did.
Yeah.
We were too mean.
Or maybe
to
there
him.
was a clown discount that day.
Yeah. And then the last hospital, Reading Hospital in West Reading, came up as the top. So that's all. Westchester, Lancaster, Wynwood, and West Reading are the top hospitals in the entire state, and they're all in this area.
We have some fine medical care.
That's amazing news for us, just because, listen, proximity to a great location is important.
Absolutely.
When it comes to your health.
When it comes to New Jersey, I have an ignorant Pennsylvania question, Preston. Was it Moorestown or Morristown? Because I always get confused between
Morristown.
And I don't remember which one's closer
That's
to
North
us.
Jersey.
Is it
All right.
Morristown is closer?
Morristown?
All right.
But Morristown is further away. Okay.
Is it Morris Day and the time, or is it Morris Day and the time?
It's Morris Day and the time. Morristown is what I was thinking, but I guess this is...
Morristown is up north. It's not too far from Summit, actually. Moorestown is closer to Philly.
Okay. All right. So we got some good hospitals in the area.
We're blessed to have. There are people literally who fly in from around the world to come to some of the hospitals here and medical facilities. That's a gift.
The study that I saw, the story here, was voluminous, so I didn't get to all of it. And I was surprised, and I'm sure elsewhere on the list, but I didn't see CHOP on there. I didn't see Penn. I didn't see some of these other big ones, Jefferson or anything like that. I was kind of surprised by that. So I didn't look at what the exact metrics were. But nonetheless, it's an interesting list, and I thought that was kind of cool that we had these nearby here. All right, let's see what else from the Just Saying Institute. All right, a University of Sheffield study suggests that taking your time in the bedroom could be better for getting pregnant. And this is because men's sperm counts are boosted the more aroused they become.
Of the people here, did you guys try to get pregnant, or did you just get pregnant?
Yes, it was a concerted effort.
And did you go very slow?
No.
Yeah, baby.
How about you, Nick?
Doing it like that.
It was intentional, and it took all of 40 seconds.
Wow.
But
First time out.
Honestly, the first time we tried to get pregnant, we got pregnant.
Bingo, man. Okay. You should play the duck game at the carnivals.
It took us a little bit.
Did it?
Yeah, the timing had to be right. But
the intercom had to be off?
All 3 times we, no, that was after they were born. So all 3 times were, yes, definitely, we are trying, and Rochelle monitored her levels and things like that.
Temperature and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, when she was ovulating.
Right.
Try to nail it. How about you, Case?
All 3 times were, surprise.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
We weren't not trying, but we weren't trying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we weren't, yeah.
It's in that scene in the series Trying, Preston, where they're, she's ready to go on. They're on the bus
Yes.
Yeah, and now got to do it now.
She was checking her levels. She's like, I'm ovulating right now. There's like one other person on the bus that's asleep.
We have to do it.
You got to remember, we had 3 kids under 5 years old. That was a lot in a little amount of time.
Yeah,
that's like having a traveling circus.
Case, was one of the times that Diane conceived in San Francisco, and why do I know that?
I don't know.
We know exactly where and when Caroline was conceived.
Okay.
Because of the time frame after we did the math, we're like, okay, it was during where I went back for my 30th high school reunion, and Rochelle had, or maybe it was the 20th, but anyway, and Rochelle had been away for a week prior and a week after.
Oh, right.
And so we did the math, and we had one encounter, and we knew exactly when it was. We were in a hotel, and the lights went out. There was a storm that came through, and we're like,
go time.
Wanna?
Yeah.
Boom.
Let's do it.
And we did.
Go.
Baby
and
time.
that was it.
Yeah.
Boom. I know exactly where it happened.
Kabooyah.
Yeah.
It's on, baby. We're going to get the freaky deaky. All right, so. Wait a minute. It's a remix of this guy.
Oh, man.
Keep that music going. Keep it going. Wait.
That gonna be my regular center. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my God, I love that.
This should be the intro for Stephen A. Smith later this morning.
All right. All right. So the study examined 63 sperm donors, some of whom watched virtual reality pornography. Virtual reality pornography.
Yeah.
I tried that.
Just jacked into the deadliest catch.
With an Oculus?
I guess that's what that was.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I still have never done that.
Neither have I.
It's pretty wild.
Is
I
it?
did it. Yeah, when we had one. I didn't do it with the one that I have now, which is the
Oculus or the
yeah.
PSVR.
No. But the Oculus, I guess that's what.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
there was one before that came with a phone. You had to put the phone in there.
Oh, that's like Verizon had that.
Yeah.
You did into that?
Yeah,
That's
why
a
not?
cheap
Try
version.
it.
So
Yeah.
you could access VR porn through the web browser on the PlayStation, and so I didn't actually I wasn't following through, but I wanted to see what it was like. It's pretty wild.
Okay. I wonder if you could do that on the Oculus. And I
Yes.
wonder if you can erase the history on the Oculus.
The FBI reported a long history of VR. We go down to Jim Ilgoshevsky. Jim, why are you wearing that mask and why are your pants down? Sorry, Tom, I didn't know you were cutting to me right now.
Experts theorize that okay, so the counts. By the way, when they did VR porn, counts were 58% higher in the group watching the VR content. So the sperm count was higher. So experts theorize that this is because they felt that they were taking part in the experience.
Does it depend on the system, whether it's the Xbox or?
No, it does not. It's just whether or not they are excited. If they are not,
it's more conducive to
aroused.
that the arousal.
Yeah, so sperm counts are boosted when men are aroused. So therefore, they recommend taking your time in the bedroom.
Dad, can I talk to you for a minute?
If you're trying,
Bill's favorite clip.
Dad, can I talk to you for a minute?
Can you play it up until before he talks about his personal private parts?
I'll try. Get
All right.
ready on the button.
All right.
Dad, can I talk to you for a minute? I have a strange discharge.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me ask you something.
Dad, can I talk to you for a minute? I have a strange discharge.
What do you think would be more traumatic? Because
Just pause.
I'm just gonna let it go.
Just let it go for a second.
This is the sound of that guy's voice.
Dad. It's
Hey,
like, hey, son, did you finish? I'm mowing the lawn. I did, Dad. Can I talk to you for a second? I have a strange discharge.
Okay, son.
Well, all right. They're kicking you out of the military?
Yeah.
What does it taste like?
That's for Bill.
Yeah.
All right. What were you going to say? What would be more traumatic?
What? Because neither has happened to me. But what do you think would be more traumatic? Getting caught doing that to yourself by your parents or your children?
By your parents?
Whoa.
Or your children?
I think having both of them pay to watch you do it.
That might be more traumatic.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so they're saying if you would like to be more fertile, then try that approach.
Dad, can I talk to you for a minute? I have a strange discharge.
You can delete the history on your Oculus.
You can.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, on your end, Facebook will hold on to it forever. They call it the placebo effect.
All right. We're trying to keep things tight here, right, Case?
Yeah. Got a little bit of time. I'm going to do a little math.
All right. Then I want to make sure this one counts. Let me get a good one here. One that maybe Kathy will be into. Let's see here. No. Oh, yeah. All right. This one I set aside specifically for Romano. Medical researchers in the UK found that self-service checkouts that make our lives easier are teeming with loads of bacteria.
Oh, yeah.
The scientists tested other items that we touch regularly, like handles on doors and computer keyboards, but they concluded that self-service checkouts had more disease-carrying bacteria than the others.
I figured anyway, right? Anything that has like a credit card pad or anything that it's going to be touched like crazy.
And the Mac machine, Yeah. That's what I always think of when I go
Don't
there.
you keep hand sanitizer in your car for that?
Yes, and listen, places like Target and CVS that have all these self-checkout, all during COVID, they had hand sanitizer right next to the self-checkout so you could use it before and after. Yes,
That's
and it's not there anymore.
Yeah,
bring
Why
them
do you
back.
take it away?
Yeah.
Instead of using your fingertips, you should use your tongue.
Yeah. By the way, there's a little more to this. Scientists were especially shocked when they discovered a bacteria that comes from human feces to be especially prevalent.
Of course.
On self-service stations.
That was something that they were finding on remotes in hotel rooms.
Yeah, and
fecal matter.
It's anywhere, even doorknobs, anywhere.
There was another thing I saw a little while back, completely different than medical stories concerning the self-service checkouts, that there is potential for you, by an accident, to get in a lot of trouble if something doesn't scan properly and you put it away and thought that it has, and you can be accused of stealing. And what you should always do is get your receipt when you do the self-checkout, because they give you the option if you don't want your receipt.
It's got a scale. It knows exactly how much whatever you scanned weighed. So if you put something on there, and it didn't ring through, it'll let you know.
I've had it happen where yes, and that just drives me crazy in some places. A popular pharmacy chain, I'll say, has a scale that is so wonky that it makes the self-checkout meaningless, because you always have to have someone come over anyway to recalibrate the machine.
Yeah, but you know what? Some are complete opposite. I don't know how people are not ripping them off. I mean, I'm sure they are, because some of them don't have that scale situation, or if they do, it's not really
Kathy,
working.
you know what ones I love? The self-checkouts at the Wawa. They're awesome.
I haven't. You guys were talking about that.
There are always
the other
people
day.
waiting online, and you just go boom, boom, and there's no scale situation there.
Yeah.
But you're,
So where are the self checkouts in the Wawa?
It's usually in the newer Wawas. Like I have 2 Wawas that I can go to.
No, but I mean, where in the store?
On the same cash registers, usually, so they'll have now the regular manned cash registers are on one side, like in the Germantown one, and the others are on the other side.
Yeah, it's positioned somewhere on those checkout counter areas.
When I'm looking at the exit, Kathy, for me, Steve, I don't know if it's the same for you, but it's the self-checkout is on the right side if you're looking at the exit, and then the normal line's on the left-hand side.
Okay.
But yeah, I had read a case that sometimes there can be these glitches that will
launch missiles.
Not launch missiles, but maybe get you in trouble for stealing something when you didn't.
Blew something up.
Just launched.
Dad, can I talk to you for a minute?
I launched a missile while checking out a Wawa.
Dad. All right.
What is it, son?
Yeah.
And why are your pants off?
So wash your hands while using or before or after using the self-checkout or any of those things. All right, that's it. We're done. We are wrapping up this particular trip to the Just Saying Institute, but we appreciate you stopping by. We really need to get a merch store.
We do.
For the Just Saying Institute.
Yeah, you go to the bookstore and everything's there.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Exactly. All right, we need to take a break because we have a couple of guests coming up. We have the Bizarre File, but we're also going to get the director of the Philadelphia Auto Show, who we love having on.
Great event.
Mike is going to be here to tell us about the goings-on, because it's a week from this weekend. It's coming up a week from tomorrow, actually. And then a little bit later on, Stephen A. Smith's got a new book out. He'll be stopping by. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve
on 93.3 WMMR.
For 2 years, it disappeared. But now this.
There you go.
Wow. That's unbelievable. Isn't that something? It's crazy.
You had to have heard our earlier discussion in order to understand exactly what we're referring to. But the video is now on our social media if you want to see.
And call this part the everlasting bum stopper.
Oh, my God. Hang on. I can't see the copy here.
And the video's back up again.
It's just such a clunky looking thing.
It is. There's no way to describe it.
Okay. No, you may not want to eat for this next segment that we're going to do.
Oh, man. Okay.
Kathy told us last night on a little phone call, and she prefaced this by saying, I want to share something with you guys. And she says, because we're family and we can talk about these things.
By the way, Casey was not on the call at this point, so this is going to be a surprise for Casey.
I go, what did I just walk into? And you guys said, you just wait till tomorrow.
Yeah.
I said, okay.
Yeah. So you want to try something out, I believe?
Do. Yeah, I want to try something out. And when I say we're family, I mean us in the room and everyone that listens to the show.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
So I'm going to try a menstrual cup.
Oh,
menstrual cup.
Wow.
Yeah, a cup. I'm so surprised.
A cup. Me too.
And in no small part, because your reaction anytime Preston has ever brought this up is just complete revulsion. And
That's
so,
what
like,
we thought.
The fact that you're coming around on it, and I've heard a lot of people rave about it. I'm proud of you. I think that's like a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they still existed. I thought that this was a thing from years ago. Now, listen, I don't know nothing about menstrual and all that. But it seems antiquated to me.
Well, so I think it's becoming a little more popular because they're saying that there's benefits to it. It's safer than wearing a tampon. It holds more, so you can go throughout the day, without having to change it. It's better for the environment, things like that.
Okay, so when you're saying it holds more, are we talking like a quart or what?
Well, Steve, I haven't used it yet, so I don't know, and that's part of my issue. I wanted to. I'm hoping that Mother Nature, the flow, kind of goes along, and I get it on the weekend because I'd love to try it, not having to come to work.
Well, isn't that a big? Well, you had mentioned in passing last night that was one of the things they mentioned. Don't take your first cup out for a spin while you're going into work.
Yeah, so apparently, yeah. So I'm on a group text with my girlfriends, and
the cuppers.
I think that 3 out of the 3 out of the 5 of us use it, and they were like raving about it. Go for it. No, you have to. Here's the one I use. Here's the one I use. There's different options out there. And so
do they have Yetis?
So me and the one girl who don't use it, we were like, okay, well, give us the what should we do? And the suggestions were, don't try to take it out the first time, at least, or until you get used to it, anywhere but your own home and possibly even the shower. Because
not at the mall.
Right. Well, that's what I'm worried about. I'm like,
not on all white Wednesdays.
Well, and so my other all white Wednesday. My other issue is, how much does it hold? Because
again, as Preston said, we don't know, nothing about this. And I too thought it was something like an antiquated, turn of the last century sort of thing. But so I do understand that it's probably very safe. The purpose is will it stop any flow? Will it?
Well, yes.
So it basically dams it up, correct?
Yeah, it holds it. So when you take it out, it's still there, and you have to clean your cup and stuff like that. But
I never see. You don't see ads for these.
No.
You know what I mean? Like tampon commercials are a regular thing.
The cup might be too much for like a television commercial.
I know why we were talking about this. I had a bizarre file story of a guy who was drinking tequila out of it. He thought it was a shot glass. And it was a menstrual cup, and his girlfriend or wife had posted it online, and that's how we got talking about it.
Okay, so I don't know, Kathy. Listen, we don't know nothing about menstrual cycles here, but how many pints will you on a heavy flow day?
How many pints?
How many gallons?
I'm not measuring them.
Okay.
Case, I don't know. That's the problem because these menstrual cups they're not huge.
No.
So, I mean, I'm guessing they're made for to hold the average woman's.
Okay, so in the demonstration we're looking at here, Kathy, the woman dips a tampon down into some which we assume is actual.
I don't think it's
actual blood.
I think it's probably water.
It obviously then it becomes larger, and so it basically serves as a plug.
I mean,
you would do this every For how many days during your normal
cycle?
Like
the tampons,
like
you
4 or
mean?
5 days?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Excuse me, it depends.
And do you pour that into a larger jug that you keep by the front door?
Stop. But like it's so.
It's like my belly button lint collection.
Ew.
I haven't started.
Yeah,
it.
good. Thank you. Please talk.
The other thing is, and I've watched videos, and not graphic videos, like the videos that we're watching here, of how to put it in place.
Right. Mm-hmm. And how many guys do you need to
Well,
have?
I know.
I mean,
might
honestly,
have my mom come over and help.
For the video that we're watching, it's not. They don't have to use a blood red liquid. They could use like a blue liquid.
Well, I think they're trying to be accurate.
We don't bleed blue, just so you know.
Yeah. No, you're thinking of the Smurf cup.
But like when they do like diaper commercials, they don't like use brown water. You know, they use a blue water.
It's a little icky for Casey seeing the red.
Do you know what brand you're going to go for, Kath?
Well, so here's the thing. I purchased one. I just went to Target and I purchased the one at Target. It's called like a Himalayan salt menstrual cup. However, my girlfriend uses a site called Lola, and this is sort of like environmentally safe, chemical-free type of products for women. So I may order one from here, Nick, and try this one. Because here's the thing: there's different ones, and the one from Target has like
Lola.
Because what I've also heard is it can you might have to like dig around a little to get it out.
Bad choice of words.
Well, somebody texted in, and by the way, we're getting a lot of positive response from women listeners.
Yes.
Male listeners,
not so much.
Not as much.
Sorry.
I don't think we understand it. But
so there, one of the female listeners recommended, Kathy, that there's one with a longer tip at the bottom of it.
So that's what I was worried about. That's going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah. Also, Casey, there's a great documentary that you should watch. It's called Period End of Sentence.
I feel like I watched it, or no, it won a bunch of I was going to say Grammys, Oscars and stuff, right?
Yeah, and I believe one of the producers is local.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's about something that happens to half of the population on the planet.
Yeah.
And so it really just dives into.
I might want to watch it. Period. End of story.
Period. End of sentence.
A period. End of sentence.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of the sequel?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like. I read this book about this gentleman. No, I know. But this guy tried to live an Orthodox Jewish lifestyle for an entire year. He is Jewish, but he's not Orthodox. And so one of the traditions of Orthodox Jews is that when their spouse is on her period, they don't touch them.
Right.
And so for the longest time, they thought that it was a like kind of the sexist sort of like, oh, gross, get away from me. And it was more, what he found out was more of like a mourning. The loss of the possibility of having a child.
Okay.
So when you are shedding, yeah,
I don't judge it. I find that very interesting. In this case, to me, it would seem, because I know there have been issues with stuff like tampons and things of that
Toxic
nature,
shock.
where toxic shock and all those sort of situations.
Although
this would seem to be, to me, it actually would seem fairly easy. I was watching the demo video. She sort of rolls it up, and which allows for you to place it where it needs to be. And then once you let go of it, it expands to what you need it to be.
Right. I'm still worried about putting it in place.
Right. By the way, so do they have different sizes of them? Do you know?
Well, so I didn't know this.
You said you're using the Joe Namath brand.
No, stop it. God, jeez, Steve.
Where did you come up with that?
Hi, I'm Joe Namath. I'm not a woman, and I don't even pretend I know what goes on down there.
Preston, I think there are sizes. I'm looking now here. It says mini, size 1, and size 2, and then you can click the size.
So for the ad campaign, this would be for the regular size.
Yeah, a couple.
And the mini would be
couple.
There you go.
Oh, it actually
a couplet.
It actually goes by the sizes are based on your age, because I guess your flow changes as you age. So if you're 30 or older, so that wouldn't be me. That's a size 2.
Oh, so
under 30 is size 1, and then the mini are for first time users.
We're watching the again. Couple. So this seems. So, Kathy, the little nubby at the end that one would use to extract would seem to be about kind of the similar purpose of the string.
Right. So what you're looking at right now, that's similar to what my friend uses, but the one that I got from Target, the little nubby is kind of long. So that's why I don't know if it's comfortable.
To paint the picture, gentlemen, if I will. The cup itself looks like the front end of a World War II bomb that you would see dropped.
Right.
exactly.
Video footage of World War II. So anyhow, but it's also got a little spire that sticks out from it.
Sort of an extended nipple.
A little handle, a little extended nipple, like a very lengthy nipple, if you will.
Right.
And that is what, now we're looking at some that actually have a ring on them. I guess these are reusable ones, Kathy.
Oh,
those are
disposable? No, they're reusable. You wash them.
Which is why it's environmentally better. Okay.
And it seems to be of a very malleable polyurethane sort of thing. I do see the merit in this on one level. I think it might be a way I would go. So let me ask you one thing, and again, not to be... and then
at this point, go ahead.
She's showing to me that they do have the Joe Namath brand on Amazon. That with the tampon, you are also... sort of cleaning the area when you extract. Can you extract this?
Oh, wait, what do you mean? Like cleaning as in you think taking the tampon out is cleaning?
It does it?
Cotton swab.
Okay.
No.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, because
I only wipe my butt.
No, think about it. It's like it's saturated, so not so much.
No, okay. All right, that makes sense. I was just curious if that served a purpose that I was unaware of.
On this cup, to describe that little tip again, if you were a guy and you have one of these hands, you would take your finger and flick it and go and make that noise.
Now I know you're
I have to say, Kathy, I think this actually, as Nick started again, and I agreed with his perception, this seemed like something you'd be opposed to. Now that I hear it explained, it seems actually more cleanly.
Right?
Just the extraction process seems like it would be difficult because you're talking about something that's not plugged, it's not saturated into something. It's in a cup.
Exactly.
And you got to pull that cup out, and there could be spillage.
It's like playing a game of Operation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
But
like that.
Will your nose light up if you hit the edges of your...
But you want to do it in the shower, right?
I think
in the shower, of course.
I think the shower is a good idea.
You
Now-
wouldn't do it while standing on the console here in the studio,
I
right?
mean, no, I think I'm not going to go that far.
But if you were at work and you didn't obviously have the shower, would you then have two cups, like take one out, put the other one in? Because... listen, I don't know how these things work, but like if you took it out and then you had to like clean it in the sink, you couldn't do that because you're still expelling things, right?
That's true. But I think also the point of this is you can go much longer than a tampon. So you're not going. You can go to work for the day and then come home and change.
And if you have three of them at work, you could set up like a little 3-card Monte game with a little ball underneath one of the cups. Ooh, watch the ball. Which one has the ball?
Two more and you have a flight.
That too. Yeah.
I have a flight of menstrual fluid. Hey, Kathy, what does an ablation do? Because I hear like some women after having babies will have an ablation to help with the flow.
Jerry Lewis invented that, right?
Case, I'm not exactly sure, but my guess is that it helps with because your flow gets heavier.
Okay.
I think a lot of times as you age.
All right. Calls from ladies who either approve or disapprove.
I want to hear.
Let's go to Rebecca. First of all, hi, Rebecca. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, that was well done, Rebecca.
Hey, Rebecca, what's up?
So I have been a cup wearer for many years. I actually started with the disposable soft cups, which are really easy to use, and you can actually wear them during sex.
All right, so let me just ask again, as a completely ignorant to this. So they make them in both disposable and reusable.
Yeah, so the disposable ones I just kind of wanted to start out with to try them out, but they do also work for 12 hours, so like you get that long-term use out of them.
Okay.
Versus a tampon, you know?
Yeah. And you prefer it?
I absolutely do. So it's super easy to use. There is the new one that I use, the Diva Cup.
WMMR.
Thanks, Kath. We have the bizarre file, and then we have a guest, so let's go.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you this morning by Helium Comedy Club, bringing the laughs to Philly for many years. Helium Comedy Club is the best comics of today and tomorrow, live every week. Tickets and lineup at heliumcomedy.com. All right, so I'm going to read a few statements to you, and then I'm going to dive into this story. What's the best state to divorce for a man? Dismemberment and the best way to dispose of a body.
What?
Can you be charged with murder without a body? These are just a few of the Google searches that prosecutors say Brian Walsh made in the days before and after he allegedly killed his wife, Anna, dismembered her, and disposed of her remains in dumpsters around suburban Boston.
This is proving a very effective means of putting people behind bars, checking their Google searches.
Prosecutor Lynn Beeland read aloud the disturbing searches in court yesterday as Brian Walsh is charged with murder and disinterring a body without authority. He's previously been charged with misleading investigators looking into his wife's disappearance. He's pleaded not guilty to all of the charges, but his defense attorneys suggest the evidence against him was not strong, except for one, the Google searches. They were all made after Anna Walsh was last seen on January 1st and before her workplace reported her missing on January 4th. Misty Maris, a defense attorney, said that the Google searches rarely gave investigators a blueprint of what to look for and where to look. In particular, the searches showed prosecutors Brian Welsh's focus on dismemberment and disposing of a body, as well as insight into his motive, including a search about divorce and one about inheritance. So let me give you the timeline of his Google searches, and there are a lot, okay? So this first batch all goes between 4:55 a.m. and 1 p.m. that day, okay? Here are the following searches. How long before a body starts to smell? How to stop a body from decomposing? 10 ways to dispose of a dead body if you really need to. How long for someone to be missing to inherit? Can you throw away body parts? What does formaldehyde do? How long does DNA last?
Come on.
Can identification be made on partial remains? Dismemberment and the best ways to dispose of a body. How to clean blood from a wooden floor. Luminol to detect blood. What happens when you put body parts in ammonia? And then there's more. Is it better to put crime scene clothes away or wash them? Now, that's day one.
Right, that's a busy-ass day.
The next day, I traveled to Home Depot, paid $450 in cash for supplies, including mops, bucket, goggles, tarps, a hatchet, and baking soda.
I was just interested.
He had also Google searched hacksaw, best tool to dismember. Can you be charged with murder without a body? Can you identify a body with broken teeth? And then the next day, he searched what happens to hair on a dead body.
There was an outlier search. How do I win Hershey Park tickets from Preston and Steve?
What is the rate of decomposition of a body found in a plastic bag compared to on a surface in the woods?
Wow.
And finally, can baking soda mask or make a body smell good?
I don't think you could honestly make a case where I was just casually interested.
Yeah.
Wow.
Guys, I think he did it.
Yeah.
That's
as elaborate as you can get.
Wow.
That's over the top. I mean, normally you see just like one or two searches. This guy dove deep.
And yet, not once, how do I erase my Google searches?
There you go. That should have been one.
At least
how
one
to
of them.
permanently erase my Google searches. Wow. All right. Moving on. Rescuers searched for a third day Tuesday for a Hawaii fisherman who went overboard from a boat after hooking a tuna over the weekend. Mark Niddle was fishing with a friend off the Big Island on Sunday when he hooked into a tuna. The friend heard Niddle say, "The fish is huge," and then Niddle went overboard into the water.
Just his shoes on the deck.
The friend tried to grab the line, but Niddle disappeared within seconds. His friend jumped in, and he couldn't see him, and they haven't found the guy yet.
Kidding.
Wow.
Yeah, no.
So score one for the tuna.
He actually.
Yeah. The tuna landed a human.
One finally caught another. The search was continuing through Tuesday. The Hawaii County Fire Department was helping the Coast Guard search from the sea and air. According to Chief of Operations, he said usually our incidents like this are along the coastlines. This is a different situation because he was out in the deep.
Wow.
He and his friend were 4 miles out, and they said if he was, hooked in and this fish is dragging him around, because those things weigh hundreds and hundreds of pounds, he could be anywhere.
Not unless you think he might have made his way down to that underwater city.
Wow. Maybe. A Georgia man who was busted for shoplifting at a Walmart found himself in even more trouble when officers found 37 pounds of marijuana in his trunk. Marcus Rashad Tull was
Why did you
arrested
take that to the store
at a Walmart on Saturday after he was accused of skip scanning items in the self-checkout lane. We were just talking about that. A Walmart police officer told police that Tull had skipped at least 24 items. Officers reviewed the surveillance video. They confirmed that Tull had not paid for several items, totaling around $165. After Tull was arrested, he asked officers if he could keep the items that he did buy, and officers agreed to put those items in the back seat of his car. Tull gave officers his key fob. When they went to the car, they opened his trunk instead of the back seat so that items he bought would stay out of view. And when police popped the trunk, they immediately smelled a strong odor of marijuana. Officers found 3 duffel bags full of vacuum-sealed bags of marijuana totaling 37 pounds. They also found a smaller bag of suspected shrooms. And police said that it was the largest marijuana bust in that department's history. And
how do I skip scan at Walmart?
And then the last story is a railroad worker rescued a raccoon from an unusual circumstance. The animal was frozen to the tracks by hair on his testicles.
Poor little guy.
Neil Mullis of Georgia spotted the poor creature on a freezing December night. And
If you laugh, I'll kill you.
And noted he was stuck to the railroad tracks by his testicle hair.
It's my balls are frozen to the train tracks. Can you help me?
If he left, he would have been hit by a train. Mulls used,
I think I want to be hit by a train.
Mulls used hot water to melt the ice and a shovel to gently free the raccoon. This is like out of Joe Dirt. You remember that?
Yes, yeah.
The dog's nuts got frozen to the
this poor guy
to the porch.
It just killed me.
In video footage of the event, Mullis is heard saying, "Operation well performed. Little fella is safe."
Yeah, safe.
And it's unclear exactly how the raccoon found himself in this predicament. All right.
So there's nice patches of hair from his nutsack on the rail.
And that is what I have in the bizarre file for you this morning. All right, we're excited to have a guest back in our studio. Last time was via Zoom, but the Philadelphia Auto Show is back in full form starting next weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend. We are happy to bring the Auto Show director, Mr. Mike Gemp, to our program.
Hey, thanks so much. You never know when you come in here what story's going to lead in. And really, the raccoon frozen to the rail. That was
raccoon nuts, really. It's just as good as we can generate.
You can't beat it.
That's why it's great to be back in the studio.
Well, it's good to have you back. It's great to have the Philadelphia Auto Show in full form. You're doing the black tie tailgate party again this year?
Yeah, I mean, we were so happy to bring the event back to Philadelphia last year, but bringing the black tie tailgate back this year, it just completes the circle. We feel like we're really back now.
Benefits CHOP, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100% of the proceeds for Friday night, it's January 27th. Everything we make for that evening goes directly to CHOP. And if you guys were telling a great story earlier about Delilah and everything else, think about what they go through every day and how beneficial it is for the nursing department.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you go to that tailgate party, you get kind of a more exclusive look at things at the auto show, right?
You do. There's open food, bars. You get a little bit more of an access to some of the vehicles maybe are roped off normally during the regular event. So it's a great time.
So with Mike, with the prevalence of electric vehicles now, there's a lot more indoor stuff that can go on with actually driving vehicles around, right? Or running them.
Yeah, so the evolution of the show has kind of made its way towards like moving vehicles on the show floor. We have about 30 moving cars on the floor this year, which is by far the most we've ever had.
That's wild.
And last year we had an E-Track that was about 50,000 square feet. We've increased that to about 65, and we went from 3 manufacturers to now 5 manufacturers and 13 moving cars just on that track.
So we were talking yesterday, I think it was, about the Corvette, the new hybrid Corvette.
The E-Ray.
Yeah. Anything? So, what are the real superstars or the celebrities of this year's auto show?
Well, I mean, we always have a great lineup of cars, and that's the main reason the show is there, to see, shop, compare, in a nice, relaxed atmosphere, and that hasn't changed at all. What's cool is that the manufacturer spaces will back directly into the E-Track this year. So Chevy, for example, since you mentioned the Corvette, they'll have the Z06 there, which is a crazy beast. I mean, it's over 600 horsepower, 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. But it'll back right into the E-Track where you can take a ride in some of their Chevy EV Bolts. So, it just shows you the diversity of the lineup of the cars. And we have probably our best lineup of brand new exotic vehicles, like 2023 models, than we've had in a long time. We have 2 from McLaren. We have the Atura, the Elva, the Maserati Grecale, which is the new small SUV, and then Aston Martin DBX 707. So those are all 2023 models that are high-end exotics.
Wow.
So if you're a motor fan and you just want to see these super sexy cars that you'll never be able to own, you can see them there. But if you are indeed shopping, this beats going from lot to lot to lot and driving from town to town to go to these places. And you can side by side take a look at some of the new stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that is still the heart and soul of what the auto show is. It's a great way to see, shop, compare your next vehicle. And then we add in, so in addition to EV, which is rising up, we have Camp Jeep and now a brand new Ram Truck Territory Track, which is all organic, dirt mounds. The Ram vehicles are going to be going indoors over top of these things, the TRX models, which are like the sport model. So you get to experience a vehicle, and outside we have 2 ride and drives where you can actually drive the vehicles from Jeep, Dodge, Toyota lineup, everything. So you get all kinds of opportunities to see, shop, compare, drive, ride.
Get that tactile feel and just to sit behind the wheel, and that's something. I mean, you can only do so much online, and you got to at some point sit there and see if it's to your liking. The Tesla has the new their new sort of a pickup truck. The sort of space stage looking thing. Is Tesla going to be there? I assume it will be, right?
Well, no, Tesla won't be there. We invite everybody, every manufacturer in the world. We invite to come to the show, and everybody makes their different marketing decisions whether they'll be there or not. We have the F-150. The F-150 Lightning is on the track.
Yeah,
and that's going to be great. That's an
huge.
amazing vehicle. The pickup you get from a car that big, you would never guess it. And that's what's great about the E-Track. You get an acceleration lane where you get to feel the instant torque and responsiveness of an EV.
Awesome. Cool. Mike, do you take any of these out for a spin when they come into town?
Well, it was funny. Last year was the first year we did the EV track, and I had to be the first one on the track. So I took the F-150 Lightning out because I just had to see for myself. I had heard about EVs, but I had never driven a truck version of an EV, and I just had to see how fast it was going to go.
All right, and how did that feel?
It was insane. It really was. I mean, I can't even describe it. It's like being in a golf cart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. You just hit it and it goes, but you're in this massive truck that you expect is going to take forever to get done, and it just goes instantly.
That's the thing about electric golf carts. I'm a golfer. I play regularly, and if you get in, you realize that they have electric golf carts. You have to be very careful when you step on that accelerator because it will just fly out from underneath you. And I've ridden in electric vehicles. A friend of mine owns one and has taken me out and toured, but I've never driven one. So I need to get that experience too.
Yeah, no, it is. It's very cool. And with the golf carts, you got to make sure the other passengers in the seat too. I learned that lesson a couple times.
Oh yeah, it'll throw you for a loop. That acceleration, that instant speed. On the other part of the auto show, one of the things that's always fun. Movie, TV cars we've seen, in pop culture. What's represented this year?
Yeah, I mean, the idea of the show is not only to educate, it's to entertain, right? So we bring in all kinds of, we literally have 3 shows within one. We have a 30,000 square foot hall with classic vehicles, have a 125,000 square foot hall downstairs with aftermarket vehicles from local shops and local vendors, and even this year, local people bringing their rides in. But the Hollywood Cars is a perfect example of just how it rounds out that entertainment. I was a huge fan of Cannonball Run when I was younger. And the opening scene to that, I wore out the VCR playing that Countach chase every time.
Right.
And so movies and cars are iconic. They work together all the time. So we have 2 from Stranger Things this year, which is obviously a huge show.
Cool.
We have the Hawkins Power and Light van. You see that coming up. You know the enemy's in the territory, right? And 11 flipped it. We have Walking Dead vehicles. Norman Reedus, his... Walking Dead motorcycle, which if you know any vehicle from Walking Dead, it's the motorcycle he drives around. Rick's patrol car, Vin Diesel. We have a Fast and Furious screen-used wrecked car. So Hollywood Cars are just another great attraction you see at the show.
Love it.
Awesome. And since you love Cannonball Run so much, we'll play a little bit of this music. This is from that movie, by the way.
You don't have to tell me. I know it.
Casey loves that. All right, so getting tickets. Best way to do that, Mike?
So PhillyAutoShow.com gets you everything you need. You can take a look at who's at the show, get your tickets there. You can get your tickets for the black tie there. And the black tie, I tell you, if you want to go, you got to get over there because the Marriott block runs out on Friday, and it's the best way to go to the show. Go to the black tie, you stay at the Marriott, you can walk right to the convention center. But PhillyAutoShow.com, buy your tickets, all the information you need about the show, hours, everything.
Take the train in to get there, too. It's right there. It'll drop you off if you need
it's so
to.
easy. When we go, that's what we do. We take the train. It's so easy.
You don't even have to go outside. It drops you right off downstairs. You take 2 escalators upstairs, and you're in the back of the auto show. So it absolutely can avoid all the traffic and all the parking.
Excellent.
PA Convention Center, 1101 Arch Street, of course, and that is January 28th through February 5th. It is the Philadelphia Auto Show. It's great to see you again, Mike. Thanks for being here.
Oh, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me back.
Director Mike Gipp, let's hear it for him, guys. We're going to take a break. We will come back in just a moment, and we're going to have Mr. Stephen A. Smith on the show. Stay with us, my friend.
Preston and Steve. 93.3 WMMR.
Am I reading correctly that it says here on what you were going to comment on that you can have sex while you have it in?
Absolutely. So there's another one that I got. I haven't tried yet, but it's similar to the soft cup. So it doesn't have that little nub. So it's kind of more like a saucer, and it does not leak when you're having sex, and it doesn't poke anything that's poking in you.
Wow.
Okay, and again, we're trying to slalom this because listen, there is so much.
Thank you, Rebecca.
We get away with as guys with not having to operate all this additional plumbing and concern and so on and so forth. So I would endeavor in every way to make it easier to use. So I completely my heart and my accolades go to anyone who's attempting to juggle that kind of stuff.
Rochelle has had difficulty with it her entire life.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so it's not easy for her.
No.
Every single time.
Yeah.
So she's got some above and beyond issues.
And it can be
it's very tough. And I feel horrible for her every time that it happens. And it's just, she's been going to doctors for years to try and figure out what's wrong.
Yeah.
And they can't figure it out.
And you know that here, no pun, it's like the clock is ticking to your next encounter with it. And
it's coming no matter what.
Yeah.
So my friend who uses it just texted me, and she said, "No way, I would not have sex with it."
Okay. Well, I guess she said there's a different kind that's like a saucer. So
what does it say as far as the under the Joe Namath specs there?
Stop. But wait, I read about putting it in place, but there's also you can read about removing it, and the first step is wash your hands. The second step is relax.
Okay,
it's a picture of Joe Namath holding a football guard with my cup. Go deep.
Yeah, a couple. Hi, I'm Broadway Joe. Oh, my God.
Now, I'm not saying I know a lot about lady parts, but I do know.
All right, let me go to Kelly. Hey there, Kelly.
Good morning, it.
Good morning, Kelly. What's up?
I love this conversation so much. I've been encouraging my friends to switch for months now.
Okay, and are you being met with deaf ears, or are they opening up about it?
So I think they have the same concerns as Kathy with, inserting, removing, and then how much it holds, too.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's so much better than tampons.
Well,
many people say
does
that,
make sense.
And once you go to it, you're never going to go back. Like when people who switch, they are committed to it.
Kelly, how long ago did you make the switch?
So I'm actually pretty new to it. I just switched over the summer.
Oh, okay.
And I'm actually pregnant now, so it's not like I need it.
Oh, so you don't need it right now.
Can I ask you also, so in the course of an average day, and Kathy, please feel free to chime in, I should say, how often would one normally replace a tampon during the course of a day?
Oh my God.
And Kelly, depending on, I assume, what you're used to emitting.
And which day.
Yeah.
I don't know, I would say at least 5 to 6.
So
right?
5 to 6. So you could get away with this for like 12 hours?
That's what they
say.
say.
Oh, yeah. I only use it 2 to 3. I probably switch it out 2 to 3 times a day.
Oh, I'd be in.
That would be
to avoid doing that 5-6 times a day to just doing one shot.
Oh my God! Yeah,
totally.
And Kelly,
I'm going to do it now.
Yeah.
Kelly, when you remove it, you wash it and then put the same one back in.
Yeah. So I just rinse it out. You boil it. You're supposed to boil it once.
Stick them in a stew.
Cycle. So it's usually
once during a cycle. Okay. Nice. And Kathy, we can buy you these as gifts and stuff, like different colors and things like that.
We can get you one that says "World's Best Boss."
Yeah.
I'm getting a menstrual cup in the mail now.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh my God.
Listen, we have loads of people on the line that want to talk about this. But we have to take a break. Can I go to one more?
Yeah, I would like. Yeah, we need to
let me go to Rachel.
This.
Hi, Rachel. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hey, what's up, Rachel?
Using the cup, Gadzooks. I've been using the cup for a while. I'm on my third one.
Okay.
You're supposed to throw them out about every 2 years, or a little less. But, there's a measuring tool on the inside. So, Kathy, you could actually measure how much you are letting go.
Okay.
Got it.
Oh, okay. So as you pull it out, it's got little notches on the side of it that tells you how much. Okay.
On the inside, it actually says quarter ounce, half ounce.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. So it's
like a jigger. It's
exactly. Yeah. On the rocks, please.
Right.
I'm a big fan. Good luck. I love it.
All right, Rachel. Thanks for the heads up.
That's what anybody who uses them, that's what they say. You're never going to go back once you get it down.
Reducing the amount of times you have to swap it out.
Yep.
It appears to be less detrimental to the environment. Also, it appears to be just in general more hygienic.
Nick, did you see any negatives on the text board? Because I didn't see any, and I didn't see any negative calls either.
No, I mean just people who are eating their breakfast.
Well, yeah, I mean that's
right.
Yeah,
of course.
But I'd say for half the audience, this is a really relatable topic.
All right,
most definitely.
Nice.
Okay, and those of us who are married are probably concerned about our ladies as well about that whole thing. So,
yes,
I would like to applaud Kathy Romano for being so forthcoming.
No pun intended.
No pun intended with her personal life.
I will let you know how it goes.
Please keep us updated. Let's start posting your flow chart.
Okay.
And let's add Joe Namath and see if you can get an endorsement.
Yeah. Sometimes when I play golf, I will get something stuck in my head. Either it's a song or something somebody said. And because you're spending a lot of time, walking and your mind is free to just think. And these things pop in my head and they will play for 4 hours over in my head. Yesterday, I had the weirdest one.
Yeah.
And it made me realize that I think I would have been a good husband to Kathy.
To Kathy?
No, you would not have.
I'll explain.
All right.
So all that was going through my head yesterday was, Baba Ganoush! Say it, Kathleen.
Baba Ganoush!
And what I realized is that's how she calls our wolf, Boltar, by screaming Baba Ganoush. But I realized that I actually like the sound of Kathy's voice when she's yelling at you.
Really?
Hence, I would have made a good husband.
I have not developed
to
it like
Kathy
yet.
Romano. I know.
That doesn't mean you would be a good husband. That means that you would just enjoy a lot of the anger.
Yeah, which means I'd be a good husband because you're angry most of the time. So, no, but I realized I like the sound of her voice when she gets mad or when she starts yelling. And I know some.
You find it amusing.
I do.
Though to be in close proximity to it constantly would not be as enjoyable.
I see some of the text sometime that it drives people crazy when Kathy gets all fired up about something. I like it. I mean, I think just the sound of her voice, whatever it is, the resonance of your voice when you yell.
Here's the difference, though.
I like it.
You hop in your car and you go home.
I go home. I don't have to live with it.
Right.
Trust me.
So you're like, wow, that seems great.
Yeah.
That's I just.
What does that
it's
mean,
like people,
Steve?
With my wife, they say you must laugh and laugh and laugh all the time.
Right.
And then say, yeah, I laugh and laugh all the time.
But I find it entertaining when Kathy gets fired up and starts yelling about something. And I've realized it's the actual sound of her voice, not necessarily what she's saying.
Let's cut to the real chase here.
Yeah.
Marissa or Kathy, if you had to marry one.
Marry one?
And as you said, you could, be in close proximity.
Yeah.
Which one?
Wow. I love the tones of your yelling voice, Kathy, but I would marry Marissa in a heartbeat.
Are you sure
over
Kathy
you.
can cook?
She can?
No.
She can't. Are you crazy?
Cooks.
Marissa can't cook. I know that.
Preston, Preston would be doing the cooking. That's not even on the table.
I don't know, man. Marissa's pretty controlling.
Not as controlling as her.
I don't know.
All right,
wait.
All right, Kathy, on the show here of the guys.
Oh God.
Oh.
It's you started it, Preston, with this realization that you're madly in love with Kathy. Who on the show would you pick as the best husband? Not lover or, into your crazy S&M stuff.
Okay, all right. Just husband-wise?
It's just husband-wise.
Marissa.
Now you have to pick one of the guys.
I thought it might be Steve because Steve is in schmoopy doopy.
She doesn't like that, though.
Oh, really?
Do you really think that I would
Okay.
be like
She's not going to answer. You want to know why?
I love you.
She's not going to answer because
well, let me think about
me.
it.
It's not. See, I knew you'd think that. Just on a basic level.
No. Here,
think about it.
Don't answer for me.
Will you marry me?
Yeah.
I love it.
It would have to be, honestly, I'm not joking, the most organized person. And I think, Casey, that's definitely not you because I've seen your closet. I think it's going to have to be Steve.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're pretty organized, aren't
He's
you?
very organized.
I am pretty organized.
He puts things in right
some
angles.
level. Though I would say this, I am bizarrely, I will do like this. I will keep things at angles.
Yeah.
I'm not as clean as you are, Like
we could get a cleaning lady.
All right. I thought Nick might be that if you're talking organizationally.
Are you serious?
I mean, not with his post-war Berlin look at a station here.
This is the only space I have.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kath. Our next guest has got a new book. He will be at the Philadelphia Free Library today at 1 o'clock and has made quite a name for himself in print, radio, and television, and returns to Philadelphia. Please welcome Mr. Stephen A. Smith to our show.
What's going on, everybody? Good morning. How y'all doing?
Doing well, and you?
It's good to be here.
Congratulations on having a book out, man.
Thank you so much. It's been a long time coming. I'm glad it's over with.
Well, let me ask you.
It's the title, I'm sorry, Steve. It's Straight Shooter is the name of the book, by the way. Go ahead, Steve.
Concerning the book, you signed 25,000 copies?
Yes, I did.
20 million.
And let me be very, very clear. I signed them.
Yes.
It wasn't some stamp or whatever. My damn right arm still hasn't recovered.
Yeah,
I'm still trying to get it back.
Yeah, Bob Dylan got caught. There was a whole big kerfuffle, but not you. You manned up and did
I
it.
signed 25,000 copies. Make no mistake about it. And that doesn't count the bookstores.
Wow.
You said it was a long time coming. I read that you had to wait, or you wanted to wait until your mother passed.
I had to. That was the promise she made me vow. In 2011, I think it was early 2011, she did not want me to write about the book as long as she was alive.
Because it was...
because she knew that I would celebrate her, but inevitably in celebrating her, I would have to detail some of the issues that I had with my father. And she did not want to be alive when that happened. My mother was an incredibly, incredibly private person. She's always been that way. Never had anything to hide. She just didn't feel like her business was anybody's business. And so she made me promise. And I kept that promise.
And you basically say that while you're assumed to be the straight shooter, it was actually your mom that was the straight shooter for you, correct?
Oh, without question.
Right. In fact,
no nonsense.
You chronicle, I had a similar thing. I think we all do at some point where we start to say, hey, I'm kicking ass here. You get hired by ESPN and everything's going great. And then there's a negotiation that doesn't go quite well. And now you find yourself in a what am I going to do situation. It's your mom who comes in, and it involved a mirror.
Yes.
What? Explain what happened. I think
she was, in May of 2000 and actually in April of 2009. My last day was May, but a month earlier they had then informed me that I would be let go. That it was not a unilateral decision. Essentially, the honchos wanted me gone. And they didn't like my attitude or whatever. They didn't go into any details. They just said, we're not bringing you back. And so I really was devastated by hearing that news. It wasn't entirely unexpected, but it didn't, minimize the sting. And instead of going home, I went to my mother's house, back to my mother's house where I grew up in the same bunk bed I grew up sleeping in. And I just laid there for 2 days and didn't return calls, didn't talk to anybody or whatever. And then afterwards, after those 2 days went by, my mother always making me breakfast, my toasted bagels, with extra butter and my hot tea. And she brought a tray in the room with breakfast, and she put a handheld mirror on it. And I was like, what is this for? She said, I'm just wondering when you're going to start looking at yourself.
Wow.
She said, I'm not saying that you deserve to be fired, but you've been in this house on many occasions complaining about the job, complaining about bosses, complaining about assignments, complaining about, their willingness to marginalize or minimize you. You complained a lot, and you talked about them, and at times you talked to them. You weren't disrespectful or insubordinate, but that didn't mean you have the greatest attitude. You're not a boss, and you wouldn't want to be around somebody like that. So why should those bosses want to be around you?
That's so clear.
And she said, you just need to look at yourself, and you need to grow up. You need to become a bit more mature and understand that this had a lot to do with you.
Could that message have had an impact on you if it was somebody else that said that?
Possibly, because I believe it or not, one of my gifts that people don't realize, as much as I talk, I don't get enough credit for listening. I actually do listen. You don't get to where I am without listening. And so I would have listened, but it would not have hit me the same. I might have been a bit more resistant to it. I might have been slow to reflect on the kind of things that was said. But it definitely would have hit me significantly less harder if it were not coming from my mother. Your guy's behind you raising his hand.
I'll get to him in a second. Hang on, Chris. The natural reaction is for most people to be defensive when they hear something like that.
Yeah, but you and
know what
I'm listen. If you, most of us love our mamas.
Yeah.
I don't know too many people on this planet who don't love their mama. And so no matter how defensive you may get, there's a limit upon which you can go in being defensive when it's your mama.
Yeah.
You can try, but at the end of the day, you got to monitor your tone. You got to monitor your language. You got to monitor all those things when it comes to your mama, because that's mom. And so, I'm a grown man, and my mother passed away when I was 49 going on 50, and my mother's mentality to the day she died. I mean, if I said something, she'd be like, well, who do you think you're talking to?
Yeah.
Do you know who you're talking to? And I had to be like,
Yes, Mom.
Scares the crap out of you.
I'm 47 years old. My mom is 75 years old. She's about 4'11". She lives with us, right? She lives in my house, and you're absolutely right. It doesn't matter how old and how small she might be. Like she's still, I still kick my ass.
My mother was. She and I were very, very close. I think the only person that could get away with more than me from my mama is my little nephew. He's right there. She loved her grandson. They're both her grandchildren, but he was living away. He was under her roof for a little while, and my mother loved the ground he walked on. He's about the only person that came close to me.
Yeah. So I want to ask you about what you do for a living, and because I have a great deal of respect for anybody who does what you do for a living. We've been here for coming up on 18 years, and down the hall from us is thank you, is the Fanatic, and so I've become friendly and friends with a lot of sports talk people. It is you never had. It's always like you're in an argument with people, right? It's almost like there's never a debate. But also because of what you do, no matter where you go, people want to debate you, and so whatever you say, you really have to. You have to stick to your guns, right? And also, admit if you've been wrong or whatever. But, people want to debate you everywhere you go.
Well, first of all, you don't have to. You don't have to engage in debates. You don't have to admit when you're wrong. If you are, that's a great quality to have. That's one of the things that I pride myself in doing, particularly with the athletes and the professionals that I cover. If I say something publicly and I'm wrong, I'll apologize publicly. I won't apologize privately for something that I did publicly. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two, people don't realize that about sports. They don't get it. So many people in the world of sports really, really don't get it. And I can't tell you how many of my colleagues I've had to have this discussion with. I would pull guys to the side because I'm a veteran in the business now, and I kind of know how it works. And I'd pull them to the side, and I said, I don't care who you are or what you do. The sports fan, unless you're an insider that's breaking trades or unless you're an insider like that, the sports fan never thinks you know more than them. They always think they're the expert. So what they want in return is simply your perspective to know whether they agree or disagree with you and why. That is it. So when people roll up on me to debate me, I stop them in their tracks. I say, I get paid to debate. I don't do that for free. You ask me a question, I'll answer you. But answering a question is different than debating. You're not getting in a debate with me because I don't get paid to do that with you.
But what if somebody wants to debate, say, Rihanna versus Beyonce? For those who don't know, Steven is here on a day, and we'll explain. He made a comment. It was on Sherry Shepherd's show that you guys were talking about Rihanna playing the Super Bowl, and you said Rihanna and Beyonce, and no Beyonce. It's funny. That seems pretty harmless to me.
It's an innocuous comment.
Of all things, a statement someone might make, it's amazing what takes and what can take off virally because it made a bit of it's trending right now, today.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? I'm going to address some of these people with my own podcast. I got my podcast, No Mercy, KNOW. I come out with that at least 3 days a week. I'm going to do a podcast on that tomorrow. But let me say this, a couple of things. There's people getting on my damn nerves. So I'm definitely going to say something about it. They done ticked me off. Okay, first of all, Rihanna's fantastic. I know that. She's Rihanna for crying out loud. All I was trying to say is, I'm a Beyonce dude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think there's only one. There's only one, and she's phenomenal. That doesn't mean that Rihanna isn't phenomenal in her own right. But when you consider what Beyonce did at the Super Bowl by herself, when you consider what she did with Bruno Mars and Coldplay, separate Super Bowl performance, I might add, okay, that's a lot to live up to. And so, what really ticked me off and the reason I felt compelled to apologize because I saw people twisting it and turning it into, oh, you're comparing two black women. And I'm like, what? I'm a fan, of both of them, but especially Beyonce because Rihanna's is a great singer, damn good performer. But you know what? I used to like MC Hammer. I used to like, a whole bunch of people that could get that New Edition. I loved them. I loved them. But Michael Jackson was a little different. Prince was a little different. I did not know that it was a crime to say such a thing. This is new to me, even to me, okay, who lives in the media. I did not know that it was a crime to say, well, damn, there is Michael Jackson. We are talking Michael Jackson here, you know what I'm saying? And so people twist it the way that they do, and that's fine. But I just wanted Rihanna, who's getting ready to perform at the Super Bowl, and I thought the NFL made a phenomenal selection in picking her. I just wanted to let her know there is a standard that has been set.
Yes.
Okay, because Beyonce is spectacular, and that's a lot to live up to. That's all I was trying to say. I wasn't trying to say like, yo, I don't love Rihanna. I love Rihanna. I listen to her music all the time. You understand what I'm saying? All the time. I love her. But I'm like, you know, the Beyonce that was doing it up here. All right. And then last year, Dr. Dre, Snoop, Mary J. Blige, Eminem, 50, they turned it out. I'm like, you got to show up. I mean, I did not know. I did not know that it was a crime, that the cops need to come and cuff me and take me away for committing such a heinous act. I had no idea.
And, Stephen, I believe if Rihanna shows up and does the greatest Super Bowl performance ever, you'll be delighted.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I will be there. Let's get that out the way. I will be there, number one. Number two, you damn right I'll be excited. Number three, I'm rooting for her.
All right.
I'm rooting for her. And by the way, I'm rooting for anybody who comes on halftime for the Super Bowl finale because the precedents have been set. And when you see what you have seen and you're accustomed to it, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're watching Michael Jackson, God rest his soul, or Prince do their thing, and then somebody, some person comes on halftime for the Super Bowl and they just standing there leaning against the wall, we gonna have a problem. Because, you know, we're accustomed to something. Certainly not implying that that's what Rihanna would do, because I know better than that. I'm just saying, my goodness, I did not know that it was a crime to say, yo, y'all, there's only one Beyonce.
I'm with you.
All right.
I'm with you.
Speaking of rooting for people and for being a fan, it's a great time to be a fan in Philadelphia. The Eagles obviously are doing really well. Sixers are playing well. Flyers have turned it around a little bit. The Phils did what they did. The Union were fantastic. But I want to ask you specifically about the Eagles this weekend and where the Sixers are playing, because it seems like at this point of the last few weeks, the Sixers are really starting to gel in a really tough conference. So what are your thoughts about the Eagles on Saturday, and what are your thoughts about where the Sixers are?
Eagles first. They better win this damn game. They better win this damn game. I would tell you that they've been, by and large, the best team in football for the first 12 weeks of the season. I think over the last 5, we've seen the San Francisco 49ers elevate to another level. The acquisition of Christian McCaffrey has really elevated them. And I think that they're the team that can go anywhere, any place, anytime, and beat anybody. And even with a third-string quarterback in Brock Purdy, they can pull it off because their defense is that lethal. They've got athleticism, they've got quickness, they got headhunters, they've got body snatchers, they got rough riders. San Francisco is no joke, but neither are the Eagles when Jalen Hurts is healthy. The Eagles' success all comes down to this man. I like, Gardner Minshew. He's nice. We've seen him drop 34 on the Dallas Cowboys. We saw him be a starting quarterback in Jacksonville. He belongs in the NFL, but he ain't Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts is, I can't say enough about him. I never dreamed in my wildest dreams he would be this good. He is a quarterback in this league, and the Eagles' top priority should be making sure they sign him and lock him in long term. He deserves the money. And I'm talking, guys, I don't want to hear no $120 million or whatever. If you got these guys signing $200 million contracts, Kyler Murray's got $189 million guaranteed. Russell Wilson's got $165 million guaranteed. My brother Jalen Hurts deserves north of that.
For one season, though?
Well, let me tell you why. He's big. Okay, he's bigger. He's stronger, and it's not just his ability, his dual threat, because he can run with the football as well as throw it. But you get paid because they're projecting what you'll do based off of what you've done. You saw him go into the offseason and work on his game. Look at how much better he's come back.
Agreed.
Chances are he's not going to get worse. And here's where the key thing comes in. Tell me one thing he's done wrong as a leader. One.
Yeah.
Hasn't done anything. See, that's very important from the quarterback position because you're the guy. And when you're the guy that leads men, that galvanizes folks, and you see that you're gone and there's a drop off without you, that's the final nugget of evidence to say, we got to take care of this, brother.
Most important position in all of sports?
Yeah, you can make that argument, but I would tell you when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, you're damn straight. You saw how you did the 2 weeks without him.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely think that, listen,
clear.
He's there, you win. If he's compromised in any way, Giants got a chance because they're playing with house money. Daniel Jones is being exceptionally well coached by Dable. Saquon Barkley is a star. And a bunch of no-names come out there, recognize the fact that they're no-names in a lot of people's households, and they've played like they've got a chip on their shoulders. And that's what we got to pay attention to. So I expect the Eagles to win this game. But I would tell you, they better win this game. They better win this game. Not as good as this defense and this offense has been throughout the year. I don't give a damn if Jalen Hurts is hurt. You should be able to beat the Giants. You will not beat San Francisco because they will win. They will beat Dallas. You will not beat San Francisco without Jalen Hurts. It will not happen. As for the Sixers, here's the deal. They're very good. I've known Doc Rivers a quarter century. He's a friend of mine. I love him dearly. Joel Embiid is a superstar. Tyrese Maxey is the second best player on this team when completely healthy. James Harden is no joke. He can still ball. The key for the Sixers is that Harden has to embrace his role as the third guy who's a facilitator for the other two. You still got to be a threat. You can't go Ben Simmons on us and don't shoot, okay, which we know Harden is going to shoot the ball. But you've got to be that playmaker. You've got to be perfectly okay, and you got to be somebody who knows there's two primary scorers ahead of you, but you're the guy that's the glue because you're the one that brings it all together. You have to accept that role in order for you to be able to beat Boston, Milwaukee, and Brooklyn. That is what I believe. If you don't have guys locked down mentally into those roles, those three teams that I mentioned, especially Milwaukee and Boston, will exploit it. And you will go home.
Do you think he's embracing it?
I think so. I think so. Let me tell you the other part, too. Outside, first of all, Cleveland is no joke with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, and they've got a front line that know their roles exceptionally well. They defend, they rebound, they rim protect. So they're formidable too. Specifically, when it comes to the Sixers, Miami is a threat for this one reason that people keep failing to pick up. Jimmy Butler knows Joel Embiid. And he knows Tobias Harris. And he knows how to tweak things and pinch nerves in such a way that could affect their games detrimentally. I'm talking about, and I don't mean it in a literal sense, but I'll give you a perfect example. Jimmy, remember how Lawrence Taylor once told he used to send prostitutes to people's hotel rooms before games and stuff like that? You see, Jimmy Butler, the kind of dude that might decide to have a party in South Beach, the night before a game because, James will show up to this. James Harden will show up to this. Or do something that'll get Joel Embiid compromised or whatever. I don't know what that may be. I'm just throwing stuff out there because Jimmy Butler knows stuff like that. Yeah. Not to say that he would, but he's smart. And he knows the Sixers.
Savvy.
It's funny to think of it that way, and when you because it is you think of the moment of game time and the duration of the game itself. Right. But there is so much, and I've heard you talk about this before, that extends well beyond those parameters that is in play all the time. Like you're saying, the subtle sabotaging.
Yes.
And it's an amazing thing. What was the most outlandish act of sabotage you ever saw?
Well, it wasn't outlandish, but I will tell you something. It's a couple of stars that had the same technique. And, of course, I will never say who it is because they're married now. They weren't married then, but they were married. They're married now. And one of the things they used to do, they were stars in the league. And people knew exactly who they were. and they had certain proclivities, per se. They liked the ladies, you know. And what they would do is they knew they could go from city to city and have anybody they wanted. Not literally, but figuratively speaking, they could have a pick of the litter. And what happened? Every time they had a big game, they would get into the city a day before, and whoever was a female of the opponent, they would take that female.
Whoa!
They would take that female. They would get that they knew that she would like them more than she liked the person they were with.
Wow!
And they would literally target her, be seen with her, and ultimately, on many occasions, would leave with that person just to rile the person up that they had to play against the next night.
Diabolical, yes.
Diabolical. And I will tell you, it never failed. It worked every time. Every single time, the person who lost their girl played with emotion. They'd foul out. They'd get in foul trouble. Their shooting percentage would drop dramatically. All of those kind of things happen because they were mentally rattled.
I love it.
Terrible.
Guys, Steven's got a heart out. He's got to get out here. He's going to be at the Free Library today at 1 o'clock promoting his book, Straight Shooter, a memoir of second chances and first takes. I do have one last question, though, Steven. Yes. People who pick up the book, what are you hoping that they will take from this, that they'll get out of it?
I want them to be inspired and motivated. I want them to understand that, you know what, no matter what trials and tribulations come your way, no matter how daunting the task is for you, you can make it. You can make it happen. There's going to be a lot of people standing in your way. There's going to be a lot of obstacles standing in your way, but you'll be surprised if you're focused and locked in and you want it bad enough. You'd be surprised how many people are willing to step up to help you. This is America. There's a lot of great people that care enough about you to want to help you excel. But the first order of business is to show your willingness to do for yourself in that regard. And no matter what the obstacles are, no matter what the trials and tribulations, no matter what race, color, or creed you're from, we all have problems. We all have our troubles. But we all have the ability to overcome it. And I think that my book, exemplifies that.
It's a great message. Straight Shooter. Welcome back to Philadelphia,
Thank
by the
you,
way.
man. I appreciate
Stephen
it.
A. Smith, everybody. Thank you for being here. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
The MMRE is coming to your neighborhood.
I don't care. Like, if there's accumulation of crap, it's fine with me if you grab it and toss it.
Okay.
Who?
Okay, good.
All right, Marissa. Marissa, who would you? Because Marissa, you don't want to get married at all, though.
No, I would never want to settle down. Just kidding, Mom. I don't know. I don't want to choose.
You have to. It's not an insult.
See, but she's got 4 to choose from, and we just have 2, so it's pretty easy for us.
It's okay.
Well, technically, Steve lives in the city.
That's important to you.
Because I'm paying city taxes, I'm much more attractive. Yes.
No, I don't know. You guys all have your own good qualities.
I would pick you for Preston. We can make it happen.
He does play instruments. I do like guys that play instruments.
There we go. You would call them musicians, right?
He has a beard, kind of, a little bit.
He has a facial
He
hair.
has a beard.
He likes cheese.
He loves cheese.
I love cheese.
There you go.
Well,
He's a good cook.
We are meant to be.
It's a
Preston.
match made in
Swimming in
heaven.
brie. What's that?
Because you do these things as you start when you're in the dating. There's the check columns.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Cheese.
Hair.
Beard. His beard is made of cheese.
Kathy, do you think I'm attractive?
Wow. All the Buckle Bunnies laughed.
Now I have to reveal it.
We're excited to have our next guest on, and outside of acting, he has a whole world of music and is bringing that here to the Philadelphia area. It was just announced he's going to be playing Ardmore Music Hall on March 12th.
It's a great venue.
Tickets will go on sale tomorrow for the show, so please welcome Kiefer, William Frederick, Dempsey, George, Rufus Sutherland this morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
That's what the Wikipedia page calls you, Kiefer, but I had no idea you had so many middle names.
Yeah, I think my father was in a lot of debt when I was born, and I think he just kept telling people that I'll name my son after you if you forgive the bill.
Wow. Well, that's a way to approach it.
Kiefer, so question about the show at Ardmore Music Hall. Is this a full band? Is this you and a guitar, acoustic? What kind of show is it going to be?
It's going to be acoustic. So part of the show is just going to be me, and then I have two fantastic special guests: Mark Copley, who's an extraordinary guitar player, and Rocco DeLuca, who's going to be playing pedal steel and lap steel.
Ooh, it's a cool sound.
I beg your pardon?
That's a cool sound. The pedal steel.
Yeah, it is, and he's a phenomenal player as well. And but what I really enjoy about the show is it's so intimate, and we get to kind of tell some stories about why I think these songs are worth you listening to in the first place, and have a drink and play some songs, and it's just a really nice night to kind of come together, especially after the last 2 years. Yeah. So really, really looking forward to it.
As a performer, as a guy who I'm sure, since you're musically inclined, has probably played with bands and so on, you and a guitar, that's pretty naked up on stage. Did it take a little while to get to that point and feel comfortable doing shows like that?
I'm still not comfortable. I mean, I think one of the funny things, as an actor, if you get a little nervous, and I do, I use that nervous energy. You put your hands in your pocket if they start to shake a little. It doesn't work as well for a guitar player.
Yeah.
And look, if it does, I've always believed very strongly, if it doesn't make you a little nervous, you should probably doing something else.
Okay.
And so. Yeah, for me now, it just kind of goes away after the first or second chord. But certainly waiting in the wings to go on stage, either as an actor or as a player. Gets my adrenaline going. And,
cool.
And I hope it will feel like that till the day I die.
Well, the album is called Bloor Street, and it's your third. And and it's funny. I know that when you have somebody who's known for what you're known for, and you take the foray into music, of course you're obviously going to be met with the initial, okay, what's this guy doing? And the truth of the matter is, as I was listening to a lot of the music, it's very good, and it's and also reading about your approach to it and your love of it and how visceral it is to you. You love your acting world as well, and in fact, during the lockdown and pandemic, most of the hardcore stuff, you were still busy. I think you did 2 movies in a limited series. And the question I have for you is, prior to that all happening, you wrote a couple of songs, and then you wrote the bulk of it during the pandemic. Would we be able to discern the songs that were written prior? Do you think?
That's a great question. I think you would. I had such a profound kind of reaction to the lockdown. I've been moving at a mile a minute for the last 20 years. I don't think I've been home for more than 3 weeks for the last 10 years. And so all of a sudden, I'm actually sitting in my house, and it's like, oh, wow, I actually like my house. And, oh, cool, I actually like my dog. And I like my girlfriend. And, wow, this is pretty cool. And so I became profoundly grateful. I've been fortunate enough to have a career that people can only really dream of. I've been allowed to do things that I'm interested in, and I know that's not what everybody gets. So a lot of the songs, whether it was songs like So Full of Love, if you had told me 4 years ago that I was going to write that song and write a song that was so positive, I'd have stabbed you in the heart with a pencil. I just wouldn't have believed you.
It would be hard. It's hard to wrap your mind around it. Yeah.
And there I am sitting in the shower going, so full of love, I can't hold it together. I'm like, who the is this guy? So that was kind of my reaction to the pandemic. And I don't want to minimize how difficult a time this has been for so many people. But I couldn't help but be really grateful for my family and my friends who I wasn't allowed to see like everybody else. And it afforded me time to take stock in my own life and how lucky I have been.
Well, I wanted to ask about the title track, Bloor Street, because I don't know at what point that song was written, but, it seems to be a nostalgic look back at a hometown. I get this kind of, Bruce Springsteen, My Hometown, lyrically, Main Street from Bob Seger, something.
Bob Seger, one of my favorite songs. Yeah.
And I've always loved that type of song. It could be talking about
an existence, a place that I have no connection with growing up, but I still get an emotional connection to it. Is this indeed about Toronto, your hometown? Or?
It is. Bloor Street is the main thoroughfare through Toronto, going east and west. And we were shooting a television show there called Designated Survivor, and I hadn't been home. We were there for 3 years, and I hadn't been home for that long a period of time since I was maybe 16 years old. And I came upon this kind of main intersection in Toronto, Bloor Street and Yonge Street, and I realized all of my firsts had happened there. My first job at the food court in the Hudson Bay Center, my first meaningful kiss with a girl in front of the Bloor Street subway.
Wow.
I think the first fight I ever got in and lost was on that corner. So I just got very nostalgic and just started writing really about how grateful I was that I could grow up in that town, which afforded us a kind of freedom that I certainly know that my kids and my grandkids did not experience. We were on the subway at 11 years old. I mean, who would do that now?
Right, right. You're saying so much that's true, because that is, I actually am, it's been a while since I've been back to the town I was raised in. It's been 20 plus years. And I think I'm at that point where I want to go back, because it does mean something. And, those you pick those benchmark moments in your life, and that does mean something. And you need to reconnect. I agree with what Preston was saying about songs that do that. So much of what you write about with this album has a resonance to your experience. Two Stepping in Time is kind of just a real love song, and I assume it's written for your girlfriend, correct?
It is. Yeah. It is. And a friend of mine who I was recording with and I was writing a lot of songs. I was being kind of prolific at this moment. And he said, you should really write a waltz. And I started on the guitar, literally sitting around the kitchen island. And I was going through a kind of thing as a writer where I wanted to write about what was in front of me. And I think the very first line of the song is cigarettes in the ashtrays. All in a line, empty glasses of whiskey show the passage of time. And those were the items that were, in fact, right in front of me. I have since quit smoking, the one thing that I can thank the pandemic for. Wow. But yeah, so it's, and then, so the guy was sitting to my right and my girlfriend was sitting a little farther down the kitchen island. I figured I should start writing towards her instead of him if I wanted to have a good evening.
Did you?
And
did you
and
write I'm sorry. Did you write that song quickly? I was reading.
Yes,
like 20 minutes, I think. Right.
Every once in a while, songs kind of write themselves, and this one was certainly that. It was finished because we were actually having a nice evening. And my friend had kind of put this task in front of me, and I wanted to go back to having our nice evening. So the song got written very quickly. But it's a love song. Again, not something that I spend a lot of time kind of doing. I don't write a lot of love songs. So when something like that happens, that's a great kind of song to put in your pocket and take with you.
It was interesting to read that you consider the touring, and you haven't had a chance to do a lot of touring over, obviously, the past couple of years. But I think you run contrary to a lot of people who create music and say that the process of touring is sort of a detriment to creating songs. And you, on the other hand, find it very helpful, and it informs your songwriting. Would that be correct to say that?
Oh my gosh, yeah. In the 3 years that we were doing Designated Survivor, we played over 500 shows. Wow. I remember on the second record writing songs that were specifically designed to enhance our set list. The live thing is something that I just caught me by surprise. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I have. And I think that there's an amazing moment, or possibility at least, when you explain why you wrote a song. And I wrote a song called Saskatchewan about the passing of my mother. And there were times when I would play that song and I could see someone put their arm around a friend in the audience. And I could realize at that moment that person's going through something similar.
Wow.
When we can come together and realize that we've got these things in common and that we're going through this thing together, that's a great night. I mean, that's a good evening. And so it's something that's made a deep impression on me, and hopefully for the people that we get to play for.
Kiefer, I want to ask you about your voice work over the years because you've done some narration, you've done animated movies. I loved you in Monsters vs. Aliens. The warmonger character was terrific. You've done, The Simpsons and narrated a few other things over the years. Does that lend itself to your ability to sing, perform on stage? Do you get training from doing narration or voice work that you can then bring to your music career, or are they entirely separate?
They are pretty separate. The voiceover work started actually for me in a very funny way. My dad was doing commercials back in the early 90s for Volvo. And I think one evening he whispered in my ear what they were paying him. I think the next day I called up Volvo and told them I did a really good Donald Sutherland. I'd do it for half the money.
Undercutting your dad.
Which I don't think he really appreciated. I thought it was a lot funnier than he did. But it's its own thing. I mean, when I think of someone like Mel Blanc, who did all of those cartoon voices, and which, Monsters versus Aliens, I hope I don't get sued for this, but I completely ripped off Yosemite Sam. Bring on the fearless freak. I hate rabbits. But it's an awful lot of fun, and it takes you back to being a kid and just loving cartoons and listening to cartoons, and so it is a lot of fun to do. But they're very, very separate kind of entities.
You have lived a very, very interesting and full life, and obviously voiceover actor, musician, but you're kind of a cowboy, too. You've competed in rodeos and have won roping championships. What's that? And do you still do that?
I do not. I think 24 kind of put an end to that. I've been doing it for a decade, and I had two partners that I would rodeo with, one guy named John English, just an amazing all-round cowboy, and a guy named Mike Wolf, who has since passed. Really loved it. I mean, it was kind of like being in a band. You and about three other cowboys kind of load your horses up onto a trailer and go from town to town, doing rodeo after rodeo. We had more fun than we probably should have. And it was a great experience. And it was so nice to do something kind of different. I did that for about a decade, and I did films at that time. But it was a great kind of refresher, because when I went and started 24, that was going to be a whole very intense decade of just doing that show. So the rodeo actually kind of helped cleanse my palate, if you will, for a lot of work. And I enjoyed it immensely. And I got to see parts of America that I don't think I would normally have seen.
Right. I wanted to go back to the songwriting and having songs kind of just present themselves to you. And, with two-stepping in time and having it be so quick and present itself and you write it. Did you get a chance to see the Peter Jackson Beatles documentary?
I sure did.
I mean, for you, that had to be, as it was for us, to see the creation of songs that have become so iconic. What a mind blower.
Yeah, to have Ringo Starr kind of doing an interview saying, I could just listen to Paul play piano for an hour. and in the background, Paul's working out the opening chords for Let It Be.
WMMR.
All right, thank you very much, Kathy. A couple of shout outs, if you guys don't mind, real quick. I will lead with possibly the most high maintenance shard out I've ever been a part of.
Oh, really?
Laura Scope and I have been going back and forth for a while.
What's going on here?
She just was very specific about it, and so I'm going to do this now. I'm sorry I couldn't do it between 6:40 and 7 a.m. today.
No.
Laura, but nonetheless, I have this for her.
Yes, and if you know her, let her know that it transpired today, right?
And this is for Chris Ripa, and we have diluted it down to a little poem that she wrote for him.
All right.
So, Chris, Laura writes this. There's something about the look in your eyes, something I noticed when the light was just right. It reminded me twice that I was alive, and it reminded me that you're so worth the fight. The man I love is amazing, and we have something incredible that I'll always fight for, babe. I love you. Stay sexy.
Dickhead.
No, Laura.
Oh, no.
What?
Signed, Laura.
Laura.
So, shout out, please. if you would.
That was
please.
lovely.
Meanwhile, she's not even going to hear it.
No.
Well, I listen. I emailed her back this morning. I said, Laura, I can't do specific. I don't even do specific dates, much less specific times. I said, I said I will get to it today. And you will have to check our live stream on YouTube later on, or you can go to the podcast and you can send it to Chris.
Absolutely.
Or maybe somebody knows Chris Ripa and can let him know that Laura loves him very much. And just wanted to pass that along.
You did all you could do. That's all you can do. You're just a man.
Yep. And then another quick one. This is from, it says Ron Clausen from Schwenksville here. 5 years ago.
Where did I get Munson?
5 years ago, we visited the station on Jamie Rippert's 70th birthday, and it was a perfect day, and you and the staff really made us welcome. Jamie said she would return in 5 years on her 75th birthday, but we're not really still not doing these big in-studio invites right now. Her birthday is Thursday, January 19th. I was wondering if he asked if we could come by and visit her. But we're just not going to be able to pull that off. But what we can do, and he also asked if you can't do that. He said, I know this is kind of off the wall, but we do stuff that usually is. He said, it would be all right if you could possibly do a shout out on the air. Keep on enjoying life. Be well. And that's Ron Clausen. So this is for the big 75. Jamie Rippert. Happy birthday, Jamie. We love you.
All right. So I know two women named Danielle, and they both had a baby on Friday the 13th last week, which is really cool. So to Jonathan and Danielle, they had a baby named Tucker Joseph. He was born at 8:34 a.m., 8 pounds, 1 ounce, 21 inches. So congrats to Jonathan and Danielle. And then to Pete and Danielle, they had a baby named Henry, and he was born at Riddle Memorial Hospital, which is the same hospital where Casey and I was born. So to Pete and Danielle, who had Henry on Friday the 13th, congrats to you guys.
And you know, my boys were born at Riddle, too.
That's right, yeah. And Caroline was born at Grandview.
At Grandview, correct, yes. All right, so we're going to talk about something. Nick's going to bring it up. I think we can do that, but I also want to bring up something else.
All right.
And it's the video that you just sent over.
Yes, okay.
And was this last night's Wheel of Fortune or a recent Wheel of Fortune?
I don't think
what?
it was last night.
No, it wasn't last night.
Yeah, I watched last night, and somebody just texted it to me that it was posted on Twitter recently. It was a college tournament that they had not that long ago.
Yeah, I watched last night. This was not it.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's a guy who's on Wheel of Fortune. He is working his way through the puzzle, and it becomes pretty obvious what it's going to be. And so he eventually gets all of the letters, and so the entire word is exposed. And the I believe it was
legendary
mythological hero Achilles.
Right.
All right, and so he says mythological hero Achilles, and they didn't give it to him. And I understand their strict pronunciation rules.
In all the years that I've watched, because it follows Jeopardy, I've never seen it called on mispronunciation if all the letters are exposed.
That's what my argument is.
And the only time they'll get you, Preston, is if you add in it like they're doing the crosswords. It's car, cat, but if you say car, cat, and you throw that in, they'll throw you off.
Right.
But this seems to be a case where all the letters it's just a mispronunciation.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen them make an issue over pronunciation?
Well, yes, but not when all of the words all the letters are exposed like this. And I got to back this guy up because, like the other day, I was doing a Bizarre File story, and I kept saying that this guy's name was Malachi.
Yeah.
And Casey corrected me. He's like, no, it's Malachi.
Right.
And I was like, oh, well, I've never seen Malachi actually written down, so there you go. But I had all the letters right. Malachi is spelled the same as Malachi.
Yeah.
So apparently this has happened before, and they do have to pronounce it correctly.
I didn't know that was. Did they even state that? I've never seen it.
It has to be.
And Pat and I are thick as thieves.
And this was back in 2013.
This happened in 2013?
No. I said it happened before.
Okay. Sorry, Mom.
This happened in 2014.
What?
Oh, it's old.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Why are we wasting our time?
All right.
It just surfaced on Twitter last night for some reason, Steve. But also, he had $1 million placard, and they didn't give him that because he didn't get that puzzle right.
Right.
So if he had gotten the puzzle right, which he spelled it, he just didn't pronounce it correctly, he could have gone to the bonus round and won possibly $1 million.
Oh, okay. So he doesn't. All right. So if he got it right, he doesn't win $1 million there.
Correct. You got to go to the final round, and then you got to do the other little spinny thing, and then that little spinny thing has to be the $1 million wedgie.
Wow. And I just saw that Rue McClanahan died.
No way.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Is she all right?
Wow. Man.
What I love is with the clickbait like, you'll throw up when you see Loretta Swit today. Like, wow. What? And then you click on it, it's just a picture of her in her current state.
Yeah, the Rue McClanahan thing. I got that from Shell. I'm like, yeah, she died 3 years ago.
Well, it still stings.
It still hurts. All right. Anyway, well, now I feel like we did waste some time. But let's move along. Nick has an observation via his son, Ben.
You want to waste some time, Preston?
I want to.
Well, this one comes to us through the actual news.
Right, yes. Being my son. Now, he had an observation he's recently gotten into as a snack. Snyder's hard pretzels.
Yes.
And not Snarders. Snyder's. Speaking of mispronouncing. Snyder's hard pretzels.
I love them.
And they are very crunchy and they are loud when you eat them. So we got a few bags of them over the holidays and he eats them all the time now. And he had this observation because he added them to a cheese platter that we had put out, that everything is made better with pretzels. And there is no food, when adding pretzels to that food, that is made worse as a result.
Ooh.
And I started thinking about it, and like chocolate-covered pretzels are great. Cheese with pretzels, that's great. I couldn't think of a food, if you added it to a pretzel.
Yeah, if you go like sweet or salty.
Right, that's going to be worse because of the pretzel. And I told you this might be a waste of time. But
I concede that it is, but you do have us thinking.
Right?
Yeah, so that's what.
Yeah, because I want to prove him wrong.
Soup.
That's kind of what I
No,
I put it in soup.
Pretzel could be okay.
Chicken noodle soup,
Yeah.
a bisque if you have one.
Yes.
Tomato bisque with a pretzel.
You could almost make little.
No, Kathy.
That's a beverage.
You could do like pretzel croutons if you wanted.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Pretzel
salad. I have a pretzel with my coffee every morning, and I love it.
Are we talking hard pretzels or soft pretzels?
Well, for him, it was the Snyder's.
Yeah.
Snyder's are hard Dutch pretzels.
Right.
What food would not be complimented
by pretzel?
Ambrosia.
By pretzel.
Okay, yeah,
I mean,
Jell-O.
anything makes that better.
Jell-O.
Yeah,
Jell-O and
and
pretzels.
pretzel would not be.
But I don't think it would be bad.
Yeah, I think it'd be okay.
It's like
no, but
it's not
now,
worse.
Yeah, it is.
Does it make it worse?
No.
No, I don't think
it's
so.
making it worse.
Nothing makes ambrosia worse than the coconut.
It starts.
Ambrosia's yummy.
Oh,
Have you ever had it?
ambrosia?
Yeah.
Ew, yes.
Okay. You ever had Watergate salad?
No, I don't know what that is.
Okay.
You ever have the Iran missile? The Iran
Contra custard? All right, Case, what were you going to
No,
say?
I was just thinking Jell-O. I think that is the exception to. I think your son's observation is very astute, and I'm trying my hardest to prove him wrong. Not because I want to, but I feel like it's my duty.
We are all fans of pretzels. So the pretzel bagels, pretzel rolls, pretzel bread.
Yeah,
We're getting some calls. We're getting some texts coming in. Pancakes. No.
Why not?
Why not?
I don't think it makes
Because
it worse.
pancakes and salty don't mix, I don't think.
You don't have anchovies on your pancakes?
No,
I think
because
I
they
would
have,
try a pancake with a pretzel in it. Like I would enjoy the salty crunch.
they've made pancake like
also put
breakfast
butter on
sandwiches.
Isn't that like the Harlem Shuffle?
Yes.
The salty crunch?
What's that, Casey?
They make pancake breakfast sandwiches, so there is salty with the pancake.
Pancake breakfast.
Yeah,
sandwiches. Oh, you mean like the McGriddle type of thing? Yeah, I could say that, but crunchy and salty.
And by the way, Chuck D'Amico had this observation yesterday that Wawa should sell waffles and call them Wawaffles. I think that's pretty. It's good.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, it's not bad.
We
at
go
all.
down to Jim and go chef.
Chuck's good with coming up with names.
Headquarters where they're currently mulling over waffles.
He said one of the funniest things I've heard him say since I've known him yesterday. He was talking about Matt Blatt because they were running Matt Blatt commercials. He goes, Matt Blatt, short for Matthew Blatthew. It was so dumb, but man, that was funny. Chuck is good. Back to you, Jim.
God is good.
Matt Blatt is short for Matthew Blatthew.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it.
I mean, it's cute. I wouldn't die laughing, but all right. I love it.
I did.
All right. Let me go to.
We're really finding out about each other.
I'm going to go to Heather. Hi, Heather. Good morning.
DBH, man.
Yo, man. What's up?
All right, Preston, I'm going to remind you of bacon and pancakes. You can do like a sweet and salty.
Yep. Casey definitely said that, but I said crunchy, sweet, and salty.
Crunchy,
probably
sweet, and salty.
Don't work with pancakes.
I guess that's a discussion for another time. However, the reason I'm calling is because you cannot use a pretzel to, eat salsa.
Yes, you
That
can.
does not
Yes,
count.
you can.
Yeah,
Pretzel
absolutely
chips.
can, yeah.
Pretzel chips, you absolutely can.
I love
And I
pretzels.
can't believe
Yeah.
you started your conversation by saying DBH and you didn't immediately realize that like pretzels and salsa is like the ultimate
stoner concoction.
No,
right?
No, Funyuns.
Funyuns that's a standard, right?
How are you going to dip Funyuns in salsa? It goes right through the circle.
No, you dip Funyuns in
No.
pretzels.
Tender.
Funyuns and onion dip. Try that.
Funyun dip.
That's an onion overload.
Yeah.
How about?
No, it's not.
All right, thank you, Heather.
Heather goes, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
Crunch up Funyuns and mix them into the onion dip and give the onion dip a little bit of crunch.
What about pretzels and whipped cream?
Well, it's kind of like a little dessert.
By the way, sweet, salty, and crunchy do go together. I would like chocolate-covered pretzels. I was saying pancakes and crunchy and salt. I just don't think that works.
So I will tell you this: at Acme, they have it's their signature brand ice cream. The salted caramel pretzel ice cream is unbelievable. So it has like a crunchy pretzel swirl in it that is just it's magic in your mouth, Preston.
You just made a mess in my mouth.
Just made a mess in my mouth, man.
I love pretzels and salsa.
So right now, pretzels and Jell-O is the only thing that I can think of.
How about pretzels and spaghetti? This person says.
Oh,
how did Ben bring this topic to you, Nick?
Dad, can I talk to you for a minute?
He was in his bed, Steve, and the door was locked.
I saw what you were eating. It tasted good, didn't it?
But it was one of those, we're like sitting in the basement watching TV, and he's munching on some pretzels, and he's like, pretzels are great with everything. And Casey, I was the same. Like, I was trying to dispute his argument, maybe Jell-O. But I think I'd still be all right with Jell-O and pretzels.
How about you put it this way? There are very few things that aren't complemented by a pretzel. I think that's a better statement.
And there's
All
not
right. That's
one
a pretty,
food.
I think that's a pretty broad statement to say nothing. A pretzel can go with anything.
Are there
and
any
make it better.
medications that it would, right?
For the most part.
Like pretzels and Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah.
By the way, Casey, a few people really enjoyed Matthew Blathew. Yes, they did.
It's so dumb. It was like my wife said. I think my kid asked her what the name Bonnie is short for, and Connie is short for Constance. So my wife just blurted out Bonstance, and it just cracked me up. It was one of the funniest things I'd ever heard, Bonstance.
Right.
But Matthew Blathew, and you were about to start a live commercial, so you might not have been paying attention, but
you missed out.
The entire time you were doing your commercial, me and Chuck were over here like crying, laughing.
I was?
Yeah.
When was this?
This was yesterday. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember that at all. All right, hang on. We have somebody who wants to back up the Jell-O argument. Johanna, good morning.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
So I actually have a dessert recipe that has pretzels as the crust with Jell-O on top. That is a family favorite.
Explain the recipe, please.
So you take the pretzels and you coat them with melted butter and sugar and bake it in the oven.
Yes.
And then you put a layer of Cool Whip and then a layer of Jell-O with strawberries.
Did you say a layer of Swiss?
Whip.
Whip. Oh, whip. I'm like, that's.
Whip, like Cool Whip.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, and that's kind of you're kind of like making a pie crust out of the pretzels.
Kind of. So it's like a salty sweet thing that I haven't met a person that doesn't.
We have a
like it.
picture of, I think, what you're describing up on the screens here. It looks pretty tasty.
You know what, though? So I don't like Jell-O. So
I don't
maybe
either.
the Jell-O will ruin the pretzel for me. The pretzel won't ruin the Jell-O.
You know what? And there was a time in my life where I absolutely loved Jell-O. That was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And now the idea of it's just like.
And then I found pudding.
It's just a waste
and
of
my
time.
life changed.
It's just a waste of time.
Yeah, pudding is better than Jell-O, right?
Pudding is better than Jell-O.
And do you think the best pudding is vanilla or butterscotch?
I think it's the pudding you find in nature.
Chocolate pudding.
Yeah, chocolate pudding.
Yeah,
No, I love
really.
butterscotch pudding. I think it's very good. But chocolate pudding, yes.
Chocolate mousse was another
Oh,
level.
my God, yeah.
That's
But
another
let's
level.
just forget about the mousse.
It's better than pudding.
All right.
Why don't you forget the mousse for a moment?
But mousse outranks pudding.
I think so.
Yeah.
It is
So-
light and whipped.
So it goes Jell-O, pudding, mousse.
Right.
Is there anything above mousse in that family?
Jell-O, pudding, mousse, anal.
Do they have? Do they
That's
serve
not the
mousse
same
shots?
family.
Oh.
I see a T-shirt. Jell-O, pudding, mousse, anal.
Right. Yeah, anal's at the top.
Yeah, so would that
pretzels ruin anal?
It's like those. Joey and Phoebe and, and Chandler.
I saw Kathy. I saw one of those. It was Home Goods, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Ross. One of those shirts. That would be that's a shirt I would wear. But back to the pretzels, Preston.
Okay, all right.
Is tiramisu in the Moose family, or is that separate?
No, because you start getting into cake territory with that.
Yeah, you're right.
Because there are lady fingers.
What about
espresso and stuff like that?
Pudding Pops?
Oh my God, they don't make them anymore, or at least I can't find them anywhere.
Yeah, they do. They still make them.
Not at my. No.
But I think yes. There's at least I thought I saw something that was a pudding type pop.
Not a Jello pudding, but those things.
The pudding and the pop and things and this and but anal's always number one in my book. I love pudding pops, but I also like that too. And visually, they're related. I would say creme brulee.
I don't like creme brulee.
In the now
It's a custard. It's a cousin of pudding, I think.
A French cousin.
A kissing cousin.
Man, creme brulee is pretty amazing.
Yeah,
it's glorious, especially since you're like going out ice fishing on the most wonderful lake in the world, and then you break through it, right? Yeah.
You know what? I do like cracking that caramelized top on there. I might put that a smidge above mousse.
What? Yeah. But nowhere near tiramisu. That's your favorite, right?
It's one of my favorites, yes, for sure. And that's up there with like tres leches and flan and things like that. Flan. Mm-hmm.
Walmart.com has Jello pudding pops listed, but they're not available.
Yeah.
So it's listed on their website, but you can't go buy them anywhere.
Kaz brought them all up.
That's right, bottom up.
You
have any of these with Benadryl?
There was a moment in my life where I was thin, and then Jello pudding pops entered my world, and I wasn't thin anymore.
Around.
So original Jello pudding pops are no longer available for purchase, and there was an astounding 3,600 people who searched for the frozen treats every month on Google, but a lot of it actually had to do with Cosby and his downfall. And so, people associated, this is an article on tastingtable.com.
I mean, is it just frozen pudding? Can't you just make frozen pudding?
What I saw looks exactly like it. It must have been a knockoff.
I am going to guess it's more than just frozen pudding. Usually when they make something like this, the pudding will be part of the ingredient, but in order to make it be the proper way,
you have to add asbestos.
Well, I don't know about that, but I would imagine there's some. I don't think if you just made pudding and froze it that you would come up with the same consistency as pudding pop. Now, that's me guessing because a lot of times when they go to market with this, like Little Pig, wee.
Yeah. I'm introducing a new product called the Swirly.
They have altered it slightly so that it will, freeze properly and maintain its integrity that it needs to maintain.
So according to the official Twitter account of Jello, they said that thanks for reaching out to us. The product has been discontinued due to not enough customers purchasing it. We have no plans on bringing this back, and we will pass your comments on to the marketing team and have a great day. And this is about pudding pops directly from the Jello company that made them, the manufacturer, the ones that Cosby endorsed.
Nick, see if there's a knockoff pudding, because I saw it looked like could have been.
Maybe that's the one Kathy found.
Maybe, yeah. But I always like pudding pops.
Yeah, they were good.
They're great.
We're looking at the ingredients, I guess, for you to make at home, Case, and it mainly is, pudding, but you added some whole milk to it to give it a creamier texture.
This is how you make it.
There's
Invite
a little
the actress back to your dressing room.
There's a little bit.
Oh, wait, that's my other methodology.
Of a process.
What does the pudding guy think of this?
The pudding guy.
There's puddings. It's very cold sometimes. It makes my nipples stick out. I would like to try your various arrays of frozen pudding, please.
All right, anyhow.
We got to the bottom of that.
There's something I would like to mention. This was pretty cool. It's a story I saw this morning. Netflix is hiring a flight attendant for one of its private jets, and the job pays up to $385,000.
Oh, I'll do it.
A year. I know. I was thinking the same thing.
So what is they had? Are we talking their corporate jet?
Yeah, it's a private jet.
Right.
Yeah. So the role advertised on the company's website requires the Northern California-based flight attendant to carry up to 30 pounds.
Hi, my name is Kathy. Would anyone like a pudding pop?
Travel the world for extended amounts of time and be capable of long periods of standing.
Okay. Or how about standing during a long period?
So the flight attendant will also be required to work flights on a Gulfstream G550 jet as needed.
That notion of becoming a steward or stewardess, or a flight attendant, and get that access to travel was always something I thought earlier on in someone's life might be something that would be really a cool occupation.
They do get their travel perks are
crazy.
pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And so if you're
not just working travel, when they are going to travel on their own, they fly, some fly for free. They get it.
Family members.
Yep.
I think it's like $100 to fly a family member.
I think it would depend on whatever airline you're on. But my buddy Steve, his sister Nancy, was a longtime flight attendant on Southwest Airlines, and he got to fly all over the freaking place.
Wow.
She got to go wherever she wanted, whenever she wanted type of thing. As close to that as you can imagine.
I think they fly on standby, so you can be bumped if it's, completely packed flight. But so what if you're flying for free?
So this pays potentially $385,000.
I don't like standing for a long period of time.
Yeah.
I really don't.
I don't know if I could do that.
No, if I'm at a concert, I'm so when they play a song, I'm like, oh, this is a song I can sit down for. I'm like, this is great.
What if you tattooed on your hand $385,000 and you could look at it while you were standing to remind you why you're standing?
I wouldn't need to do that because I would buy the most comfortable shoes I could find.
Okay.
To stand. Well, Crocs. People that stand a lot wear Crocs.
Could you wear those as a flight attendant? Would they frown upon it?
Because your feet would be stinky and you'd be in a closed cabin.
Probably. While the company hasn't provided a specific compensation range for the role, it lists the overall market range for similar positions between $60,000 and $385,000. Compensation will be determined based on experience level.
Yeehaw.
Netflix said that the ideal candidate not only is professionally trained in cabin and passenger safety and aircraft emergency evacuation, but is also able to embrace the Netflix culture of freedom and responsibility.
What does that mean?
That culture includes operating with little direction and lots of self-motivation.
I'm going to fly the plane.
You are a motivated
style,
person.
That is great.
Despite the high pay, Netflix has been retooling its organization since its subscriber numbers began to slip last year. The company laid off hundreds of employees, implemented a plan to crack down on password sharing, and launched a lower priced advertising supported tier.
They've been getting their asses kicked. However, in streaming ratings, they're still doing very well.
Going back to the flight attendant, a while back, Steve, you sent me a article. I printed it up and I put it in my junk drawer, and I never got around to it. It's probably in the very, very back if I could even locate it. It's not the junk. Wait.
Oh, wait. You found it? Found it. Look at that. You made it happen through creative visualization.
A flight attendant, and this happens from time to time, they'll go on and tell you about the ins and outs and things that you might not know as a passenger. And this one explains the chime sounds that you often hear on the airplane. If you hear, like that. Here, hold it close to the microphone when you do that. There you go. And they talked about what those actually mean because there are different tones.
They mean something, yeah.
Yes. So Tommy Samato, who works for American Airlines, shared the truth about that common beeping sound, that tone. And the chimes are, and it's really not that big of a mystery, but I flew a couple weeks ago, and I did kind of pay attention to the activity of the flight attendants when I heard the chimes.
Right.
So the chimes are used by staff to communicate with one another in a quick and efficient way, with each chime pattern signaling a different thing. And by the way, I do have some questions about some of the terminology that's used when they make announcements for each other on the.
Oh, and when they're talking in sort of a coded language to each other.
Yeah, what a couple of those things, and I meant to make a note of what they were because as I was paying attention on this flight and noticed the chimes and saw that that when they heard them that they paid attention, but they said
Alpha Tango Pudding Pop.
No, not Alpha Tango Pudding Pop. If you're a flight attendant, call right now 215-263-WMMR. I would like to ask a question. But it was oh man, I forgot what they said.
But I know what you're talking about. Sometimes they to alert, for example, there is an unruly passenger, or they need there's clearly a jargon that they use that is meant just for them.
It was they used the word check in it. I think it was something.
Well, when you're done with the flight, you ask for the check.
Something. No, it wasn't that. Check, please. We're about to land.
We're about to land. Can we get a check?
So anyhow, a high ding followed by a low ding, which sounds like a doorbell.
Yeah.
Ding dong.
Right.
Means one flight attendant is trying to reach another, or that someone from the flight deck is calling them. Just one tone means a passenger has hit the call flight attendant button and needs their attention. In addition, a 3 chimes in a row signal means that there's an emergency situation, but this guy, Tommy, said that you are likely to never hear that.
So, bong, bong, bong. Rapid fire?
Yep. He said in a separate video that he added that the 2 short chimes of the same tone means the plane is starting its final descent.
What about when you hear Scott singing?
I don't know. Let me read further and see if there's anything that comes up on that. Tommy has earned a lot of attention online for sharing a series of secrets that he's learned about flying while working for the airline and has racked up more than 450,000 followers along the way. In the video,
the beverage cart is coming.
Okay. And in one video,
it's good to know.
Which gained more than 350,000 views. He said that the reason it sometimes take a while for you to get off of a plane is because the jet bridge moves super slowly.
Quick question. If you've ever used that to call for a flight attendant and hit that button, it seems to me, and I never have, but it seems to me that it takes inordinately long a lot of times for them to come to where you are. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Is that part of the protocol?
I think maybe they are guessing initially that it was a mistake.
Right.
And they're just going to wait to see if it actually, you really do need them.
All right, here people are texting him what it is. It's a cross-check, which is when you take your hockey stick and you slam it across.
Yeah. So 2 minutes.
Yeah,
It's a minor.
Unruly patient needs to be cross-checked.
What does cross-check mean? I
Yeah,
mean,
because it says, they will say a couple of phrases you will hear is...
Felching?
Nope. Doors armed cross-check.
Okay.
Or they say, hang on a second, there was another one that says cross-check and call. And cross-check and all call. And somebody here as a pilot says they might be calling for checking the emergency exits and the slides are disarmed. Okay, I was curious about that. Marissa brought in a series of terms that are used.
All right, excellent.
So crosswatch. No, crotch watch.
Crotch watch.
What?
We're checking everyone's crotch to see what kind of bulge you have. Ladies, if you have any camel toe, if you could pull your pants up so we can see what kind of badge you're rocking there. And we hope you enjoy your flight.
Badge you're rocking.
So this is this list, which I didn't know also includes slang amongst the the flight attendant staff, and the crotch watch is what it's called when a flight attendant is in charge of checking for seat belts.
Ah, crotch watch. That makes sense.
So that's slang.
I wear my belt higher than my crotch, though. I don't run it around my nutsack. I run it across my waist.
Well, I understand that, but they're looking in that general area, so I think that's what that means. So that's that's the language they use amongst each other.
Yeah.
They don't announce.
Yeah, they don't announce that
where
they're
the
coming.
flight attendants.
Institute of Badge View. Everyone take a walk.
No.
Steve, does it run back under your nutsack?
Yeah, exactly.
Back to my under my.
Yeah, I'm having a little trouble with my nutsack.
Go back to your bunghole.
Yeah.
Back to my bunghole.
All right, cross check. Here we go. This happens during arrival or departure. When you hear this, it means flight attendants must double check aircraft doors to ensure they are armed and ready in the event of an evacuation. So that's what that means. So they check it twice, make sure it's ready to go.
Right.
Cross-check.
That makes sense.
Nice. And then this says, and Marissa doesn't have the other page, it says lips and tips. And I don't know what that is. Yeah.
That means how you pay for your flight.
Lips and tips. There's also pink eye is another one they use. It says a pink eye is a flight that's slightly earlier than the red eye. Late at night, but not overnight.
Like at 10 o'clock?
This flight usually doesn't land much later than midnight.
What about a brown eye?
Whatever flight you're on, bud.
If everyone looks forward to the front of the cabin, you'll see my butthole.
By the way, I mentioned this the other day because I flew. I know Southwest has taken I'm flying American Airlines this weekend.
Where are you going?
I'm going to visit my dad.
Oh,
but I've flown last time I flew Southwest Airlines, and I really do believe they have the best when it comes to flight attendants.
Okay,
because they have a license to have a little bit of fun. They don't take it too seriously. They joke around when they're making the announcements. I also like their boarding procedure better than
I hate it.
other airlines.
the zones? You don't like the zone thing?
Confusion.
Well, it's not a zone. It's you take what seat you want.
Yeah.
So and I do like that. Now, if I'm one of the last one to board, I don't like that.
Yeah, right.
But I do kind of like that.
I hate I get anxiety on whether or not I'm going to get a good seat or if I'm going to get on time or, whatever.
I would rather specify my seat because I want that aisle.
Well, you can pay to get ahead in the line, though.
Right.
And,
What
and
sucks-
once you walk on and there's only 10 people on board, it's pretty much the world is your oyster.
Right. What sucks is the zoning, Steve. When you're like people, they don't check your ticket,
and so
and people know that, so they might be zone 5. Really?
I've been there when they've been very strict about it.
Really?
Absolutely.
He's right, though. There are times when they're not, but I've also, as what Preston says, where they're, listen, what is the purpose of having the zone if you're not checking who's boarding at that time when you call that zone?
What I don't like is when they're about to announce the zones and everybody starts
so
to
annoying.
gather in this area and you got to fight your way through because you're in a zone before them. I just want to, that's what I say when I'm at the airport. I let them know that I want to fight them.
I want to fight you.
I don't know if this is correct or not.
Get away from me.
But the term, is it? Lips and tips, right? Is that what you said, Preston?
Yeah.
Refers to a flight attendant who's wearing matching lipstick and nail polish.
That seems rather bizarre.
I don't know if it's right or not. It's from I don't even know what this website is.
Okay.
Lips or hips is a sexual proposition.
Yeah, lips and hips.
Yeah.
All lips and hips. But whatever. Okay, so
we might have a tragedy situation here, President. I cannot locate my presidential Hager slacks order.
Yeah. LBJ.
Yes.
Yeah, that's too bad. That's well, I'm sure
it's been a while.
we can find that.
Oh,
one.
don't worry, I got it. If you just type in LBJ, you can find it. It's there.
Oh,
it's a Spanish porn movie.
I have some.
You can't leave me about an inch from where the zipper ends, round under my back to my bunghole. The crotch down where your nuts hang is always a little too tight.
All right. By the way, somebody is pointing out that on Southwest, and by the way, now I'm a total proponent of using whatever airline's app.
Okay.
It is so much better.
For sure.
So much better.
Absolutely.
I used to not trust that I would have my phone and ticket and be able to, I was like having a paper ticket.
It's great for updates too. Like if there's any delays or whatever, you can turn the alerts on and you'll get them.
Yep, and also you can check in early and stuff like that. And so people are texting in that if you check in with Southwest 24 hours in advance, you never have an issue with getting on early.
So you say just show up at the airport a day early?
Yeah, 24 hours, show up ahead of time.
Get a hotel room.
And you'll be one of the first ones in line.
So you got about another 23 hours and have fun.
Yeah.
Was it when we were in Chicago where the guy was sitting in the terminal
Snoring?
Snoring. So was that Chicago? Oh my God, that was so funny.
It was great. And everybody was whipping out their phones. Didn't know this guy, and they were filming him. I kind of felt bad for him a little bit. But
I didn't because his friend was laughing at him. So.
I don't think that guy knew him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think that guy was just to film him. But anyway, back to Netflix. Yes, they have a flight attendant position available for their private jets.
How big is this jet? Do we know?
Well, it's a Gulfstream G5.
Okay,
it's
like
a G550. So it's a good size. I would imagine a dozen people, something like that. Private jet. That's a guess. That's a total guess, by the way. You guys anybody in here ever been on a private plane before?
No.
Well, I've been on.
Not a Cessna,
right?
Not a two-seater or something like that. But I mean a private jet.
I have been aboard one that was sitting on the tarmac.
How cool was it?
But it's awesome. But I've never flown in one.
Yeah,
Marissa
peeked
did.
in a couple of them.
Yeah.
Marissa?
I won it as a prize here
I
at the
remember
radio
that.
station.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Was it a jet though,
or is it?
It was a turboprop aircraft, but
Okay, sure.
But it was large, right?
Yeah, I mean it sat 8 of us.
Okay.
Well, 8 is enough.
Yeah,
They
like
had
the one.
snacks.
So a friend of mine flies often on one, and it has like the couches and
Right.
table.
These
Like you,
kind of things.
you don't like buckle up before you leave and all that kind of stuff.
I would love to do
Yeah.
that. To walk around. I know there's just something interesting about walking around a cabin like that, or like when they used to have the 747s with the lounge up on top.
Yeah.
We could, like, you're walking up into a nightclub. It was amazing.
I have a friend who does that too, Kath, and wanted to go on a golf trip a couple years ago. Yeah, we'll just hire a plan. Blah, blah. I'm like, yeah.
You're like, I'm not chipping in on
I'm
that.
not
Yeah.
to the same level as you.
Preston, did you get the episode of the Crown this season where he has to fly business class to Prince Charles?
No.
Yeah, so they were going to Hong Kong, and for the transition from the Chinese government, the British government was giving up Hong Kong to the Chinese government, and for whatever reason, they didn't have access to the royal jet, and he had to fly business class, and Tony Blair was up in first class, and it was like the prince, and now the King of England flying like with the rest of the losers in the world in business class.
How did he react to that?
He was a little jealous of Tony Blair.
Yeah.
Eat my Cinnabon right here.
Mm-hmm.
It's delicious. It has this white cream on top of little crabs. Now here comes Richard Gere.
It's almost like the evangelicals that don't want to fly with the riffraff, the normal people.
What you need to understand is you're all scum. And when I got on a plane and I see every seat filled with human scum, it makes it hard for me to get the word of the Lord.
Poor guy.
Yeah, no, it's tough.
Poor guy. All right. Well, anyhow, you can check Netflix's website for if you would like to apply for this position.
Does Amazon Prime have one as well, and Hulu?
I don't know. They
and,
should.
Yeah,
they absolutely. I would imagine that they do. I just don't think they have a job available right now.
The link to it's up on PrestonandSteve.com too.
Okay.
If you want to take a look. Yeah.
All right.
But $385,000. I mean, that's
substantial.
Major
Why do I
salary.
think there's more involved?
Yeah.
Well,
Than
I
just
mean,
simply,
do you have to be on call all the time?
that
You know
might
what I
be
mean?
it. Yeah.
It's like in the first Iron Man movie where he and Rhodey are flying, and all of a sudden the servers turn into strippers.
Right.
All right. Anyway, Marissa has a mock-up of our latest T-shirt, anal mousse pudding Jello, in that order.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I don't know if we should make that or not.
I think we should. Yes. That can be our Christmas gift.
We'll see if we do that. All right, I want to take a break and come back because we got some bizarre file stories that we're going to break out here in just a moment. So hang tight. We will come back in a moment, my friend.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
But what's really, really funny is kind of as iconic as they are, there's always going to be something really personal that you watch in a movie like that, and especially one that's documented 6 hours. My phone rang off the hook somewhere in the third episode when they all started drinking J&B Scotch. Now, J&B Scotch is certainly now not considered to be very highbrow on any level, and you'd have to find a pretty dirty bar to find a bottle of it anyway.
Yeah.
That was always kind of my drink of choice for a number of years. And literally the fact that they had all drank it together, kind of sitting on the floor working out, the long and winding road, somehow gave the beverage validity. My friends finally, after 20 years of drinking the swill, have forgiven me.
It's good enough for the Beatles.
Drank it. I love it. Yeah, I thought, if John Lennon could drink it, and apparently I make the same kind of disgusted face that John Lennon makes when he takes that first pull.
That's great.
We laughed about that.
If you're just tuning in, it's Kiefer Sutherland that we're speaking to. His album is called Bloor Street, and he's going to be performing at Ardmore Music Hall coming up on March 12th. Tickets go on sale, I believe, tomorrow, by the way. And I didn't even realize this is a bizarre coincidence, Kiefer. I right before you came on, I go to Casey. I go, oh, my God. I'm wearing my Castle Rock, Maine shirt.
There you are,
yeah. And you were Ace Merrill in Stand By Me, who lived in Castle Rock.
It's my favorite movie of
It's
all
Casey's
time.
favorite movie of all time. And I wanted to ask you about that character and other characters in your acting career, because that one was earlier on in your career, and he was so nasty and so mean. That as you've gone through and formed other characters, if you've ever gone, I think I'll throw a little Ace in there, or do you do that? Do you mix and match and borrow pieces from characters and maybe put them to construct others together?
No, they kind of, each character is inspired and informed by the script that you have in front of you and the experiences that you've had as a human being up until that point. The thing that I've always been amazed about with films like Stand By Me that I've been so lucky to be a part of was the seemingly how unaware I was that it was great, you know. When I look back, I think, man, you have been lucky because, you know, when I first read that script, it was just a job. I didn't think it was going to turn into this amazing thing that Rob Reiner and the other kids turned it into. So I've been very fortunate to be along for the ride on some of these things. And I also remember it's the first and only time that I went on an audition where I was hired in the room. And that was Rob Reiner. And that was like the most incredible feeling to go in for a meeting. And then by the time you're going back to your car in the parking lot, you've actually got the job.
Yeah. No callbacks, no we'll get in touch, none of that.
It was, I think it almost made me cry when I was a kid. I mean, it was just because it was such an important thing to get the first couple jobs down here in the States. And I'll always be grateful for Rob for doing that.
And that movie has hit me in different ways over the years because I first watched it as a child, and there were things about the movie that I didn't get or understand because I was a kid at the time. And you seeing these four kids, going on this amazing journey, and then all of a sudden at the end, like, they're not friends anymore. Like they went to middle school, and then as an adult. Yeah. And I actually have a friend of mine. I was just talking to him about it on Sunday. I went to kindergarten with this guy, and we're still friends to this day, but we were lamenting over the fact that, like, there were people on our last day of 8th grade. That was the last time I ever saw them. And, these are aspects of these child's lives that Stephen King was well aware of as an adult. And so it's my favorite movie, and has always been, will always be my favorite movie of all time.
Well, it's certainly one of my favorite to have made because I was so young again. But all of a sudden, I'm in Eugene, Oregon. I've got my own hotel room. I'm being paid. I'm 17 years old. This has nothing to do with my parents. For all of those reasons, again, talking about the firsts that you do in your life. It was an incredibly, incredibly exciting time.
As you moved through your career, and I mean, it's an amazing career, on the screen because you've played William Burroughs and Jack Bauer, which are, as author of The Naked Lunch and one of the great action guys of all time. And I know you have a very good work ethic, and the mindset early on was to just get the role. But as you were able to have some impact and weight and make the selections, what informed what you chose throughout your career?
Just whatever moves you. It's not more complicated than someone picking up a book and for whatever reason this book moves them and makes them inspires them more than the other book. So generally, if I'm reading a script and I can't put it down, it's going to be something I'm interested in doing. And having said that, I've made close to 100 films, so I've made mistakes. There are a couple films I'm sure that I read that I didn't understand, and when I see the movie, I'm like, how did you not get that?
Is that a liability? And you mentioned you didn't realize what you had with Stand By Me. I would think it'd be hard for an actor who's doing the job to be in it, surrounded by all of this stuff that's going on, and to be very aware, completely aware of how something is turning out. Is that?
Yes, I mean, that's a very fair statement. I mean, and there's some people that are clearly must be better at it. Like, I think Tom Hanks must have some inner gene that's like, this is going to be a huge hit because he keeps making them. I wasn't given that gene, and having said that, so many things need to go right for a film or a play to work, or for a song or an album to work. And for instance, 24 was a perfect example. it was my first foray into television. And for those out there that don't know, you make a pilot, you make the first episode, and then if it gets picked up, you then go make the first season. But if it doesn't, you still get paid.
Right.
And when, I thought the likelihood of 24 getting picked up was pretty minimal. So I thought, I'll go do the pilot. It won't get picked up. I'll still get paid. No one will know. And, it was the luckiest gift I've ever had as an actor, and did it for a decade. So, wow. So I don't know if any of your kids want to get into film, probably the best bet is to not send me the script and ask me what I think.
Two real quick things, Kiefer. My mom drinks J&B, so you're not alone. You, my mom, and the Beatles. And you do play a great dick, because in A Few Good Men, you were really not likable at all. And you pulled it off successfully. I think you're a really likable person. I'm loving this conversation with you. But that movie, was it fun to be kind of a villain in that movie?
Well, it's those characters, and especially by design, like Ace Merrill and Lieutenant Kendrick in A Few Good Men, they're just designed to be that. There's no real depth to them. There's kind of a black and white character that this is who you're against.
Yeah.
And so the fact that they are so pointed as characters makes them very fun, because all your energy goes into that. There's no complex layering. He's just, as you said on your radio station, he's a dick. So lean into it.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
It's got to be. All right, well, listen, Kiefer, we know you got to run. This has been so much fun to talk to you. We really appreciate it, and excited about the fact that you're coming into Philadelphia. Kiefer's show is going to be at the Ardmore Music Hall. It's on March 12th. Tickets go on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. at ardmoremusic.com. The album is called Bloor Street. Some great music. It's got a country vibe to it. If that's your thing, then you're definitely on board.
Yeah, it's very, very solid.
Yeah, so thanks so much, man.
Man, thank you guys so much. And Steve, I believe it's your happy birthday. So
no, it's Preston. It's Preston, but thank you.
Oh, is it Preston's birthday today?
Yeah. But I get one.
Man, I'm so sorry, but happy birthday.
Dude,
come on.
Thank you. I
Nice.
appreciate it, Kiefer. Good luck with everything.
Cheers.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Okay.
Kiefer Sutherland. Yeah. Wow. And there's
my
so
God.
much more that we could have covered. Even
we could have
gone another hour.
Yeah.
Just talking to him about all his movies. TV shows.
It's still an interesting thing though, because you have a guy who's of the vast movie career, but he is passionate about the music, and he really is sinking a lot into it. And if you do give it a listen, I mean, you did mention a little bit of Springsteen-esque. There's even a bit, I think, of Warren Zevon, and there's and it's personal, and he does a good job relaying that through the music.
I meant to and wanted to ask him about. He performed at the company's Christmas party. We weren't at that, but it was for national sales and.
No, you didn't want to bring.
Yeah, were you in here when we were talking?
Well, no. So I wanted to ask about Matt. So Matt Capper was the
organizer.
He was the master of ceremosers, and he wore a bright red fitted.
I saw you in Stand By Me. That was sick. Was that dead body real?
Played eighth.
You played eighth. That was sick.
Oh my God!
Are there really a few good men, or is there just one good man? Sick. Were the boys really lost?
Wait, he was wearing a red outfit,
A red
suit?
blazer, almost
blazer.
like a Santa Claus, but it's fitted perfectly to or imperfectly to his body.
I had a tailor made, so it can show my V. Sick.
Your feet.
Casey, I was glad you got to bring up Stand By Me, because I think now you've been able to ask Rob Reiner, Will Wheaton, Jerry O'Connell.
Yep.
Now Kiefer, Corey.
Probably Corey Feldman at some point, because we've had him on. We had him in studio back in.
I bet you could have asked River Phoenix if he was still alive.
Oh, by the way,
covered everybody
on. I think it's Hulu. Hulu has a series. It's a Vice series, and they touch on there's a whole episode on River Phoenix, the Viper Room.
Heard about, I heard it's really good.
It's really, really good.
I'll tell you the thing about Stand By Me, and there are other movies like that you watch it and you dread almost the end of Stand By Me, because it's a wonderful thing, and it's the way life works, but the sadness of what you had and
the Sandlot, things like that.
It's the way things are.
Yeah,
and
it's what's important to you as a kid at that time. I mean,
it means everything.
They're sitting around the fire, and he goes, "We talked about things that are important to kids at that time. What's your favorite flavor Pez? Or
Pez,
candy
flavor Pez.
and stuff like that." And it's It's just a simpler time that's great to reminisce about, and that's done so lovingly well in that movie. So it's cool. I'm glad he had noticed. I said, "Yeah, I'm wearing my Castle Rock shirt." He's like, "Yeah, I noticed." Very cool, man.
Yeah, awesome. Great guy. Great guest. I'd love to get him on again.
Our next guests are here to promote a movie of which the trailer is one that has made me laugh out loud. This morning, I kept watching this part over and over, absolutely cracking up. And we're going to ask these guys about it because I was just dying. And we welcome back a Philly boy to our studios. He's been here before. We love him. He's so great to this city. Kevin Hart is here, and Ice Cube is here as well. Hey, guys.
What's your man?
How you feeling?
Doing great, man. Thank you guys for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Kevin,
hey, that's my line, homie.
You didn't work this out ahead of time?
No, man. See the problem I had to deal with?
There you go. Something tells me this was a lot of fun to work on the movie Right Along.
Yo, it was a lot of fun to work with. You know, as soon as we can get Kevin, you know, into the set, you know what I'm saying, to work, you know, he did a pretty good job, you know what I mean?
You have no problems.
Getting him out them strip clubs is murder, you know what I'm saying? Picking glitter out his face, you know, it's just not cool.
Not a regular at the Purple Orchid, are you, man?
Yeah,
Purple Orchid.
Don't listen to this nonsense Cube is talking about. Dude, let me tell you something. Right now, we couldn't be more excited about a movie in our life, man. You know, me and Cube got the opportunity right now to have a film jump in the same conversations as these other buddy cop movies that have done so much. You know, when you think buddy cop movies, you think
48 Hours,
Rush Hours, 48 Hours.
I love them. There's a great dynamic, but the key with any movie like this to work is the chemistry, and it seems like you guys hit the ground running with it.
Instant chemistry, you know, and that's kind of weird because, you know, with the other comedians that I've worked with over the years, you know, we've had to build to a cool place, but it was instant with Kevin.
You in the plot conceit here is that you're an actual detective.
Yeah.
Kevin, you're a pain in the ass school cop. Which you're going to marry your sister, who's your life. You're one connection through to the real world.
Yes, you know, my character has taken care of my sister. You know, our parents are out the picture, and you know, so you know, she's almost like a daughter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you're very protective.
Overprotective, and I'm on a big case. You know, I'm trying to track down the biggest drug dealer in Atlanta. So the last thing I need is this fly in my ear by the name of Ben bugging me trying to marry my sister. You know, and he's just not what I think he should be.
So you decided to take him on a ride along, which might kind of scare him out of this whole thing.
That's the plan, man. Just scare the hell out of him.
You're Denzel to his Ethan Hawke.
Pretty much. You know what I mean?
Training day upside down.
Upside down on his ear.
You know what's funny though? There's an aspect to it. I'm a gamer, so you know, and you, Kevin, your character believes sort of in a way that because you're accomplished at video gaming, that would translate into the real world.
Yes, I solely believe that this is a real thing.
And I guarantee
93.3 WMMR.
Thanks, Kath. So Nick and I share this monitor, this computer monitor, and Nick has control over it, and sometimes he'll pull up Wikipedia pages and things like that with information that I need to know and I can't do in the middle of you know, progressing through the show.
Right.
And I look over, and Nick has looked up on Wikipedia yam. And I have no idea why.
Right. So Kathy was just having a snack, and Kathy and I were standing right outside the door while you guys were doing a live commercial. And then Casey comes out, and he says, "Are you having yams?" And Kathy says,
so I had like my little Tupperware. I had just heated up what I was eating, and I was holding it, but I was talking to Nick, so I wasn't yet eating.
And then so Kathy says, "No, I'm having sweet potatoes." And then Casey's like, "I think they're the same thing. Are they the same thing? I think they're the same thing." And then I couldn't remember if Casey was right or wrong. And he couldn't remember either.
I think they're slightly different, but they're very similar.
In the U.S., apparently yams are referred to as sweet potatoes. And then Steve started talking about the fact that he likes sweet potato fries, but not sweet potatoes. Right. So I think, Steve, that most sweet potato fries are made from what in the rest of the world would be known as yams.
Okay. So what's a yam bag?
That's your ball.
That's your nutsack.
Right. By the way, so there are yams or sweet potatoes that are orange inside, and others that have a yellowish look to them. And I had always thought of the ball sacks are yummy. I always thought the ball sacks were yummy.
Yeah.
No, that the yellowish ones were more considered yams.
That's your nutsack.
Hi, Mom. And sweet potatoes are, you know, the orange ones. But I think they're very, very similar.
They've got to be right
similar
in the
vegetables.
pocket,
It's the same thing. Like you have different kinds of onions, but they're still onions.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Dad, can I talk to you for a minute?
They are all in the tuber family.
Yes, they're definitely tubers.
Yes.
Yeah.
We know that.
Or snowboarders.
Totally tuber.
Yeah. All right. Glad we got that all cleared up.
Are we good?
Man, when we clear up something, we clear it up good.
Yeah, we do.
Hold on a second.
Oh.
This is from
No, we don't.
Web Restaurant Store or webstaurantstore.com.
All things concerning Webster.
Yams and sweet potatoes are not the same. Yams have rough, dark brown skin that is often compared to tree bark, and their
Okay.
flesh is dry and
I know that.
scratchy like a regular potato. Sweet potatoes have smooth, reddish skin. Oh, okay, yeah. Softer flesh when cooked and a sweet flavor.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. We're looking
So-
at side by side. See what I was talking about?
So then am I then in effect actually having sweet potato fries?
I think you're having
You're
sweet.
not having yam fries.
Right.
So what's a yam bag?
And I was eating sweet potatoes.
You were eating sweet potatoes.
Not
now,
yams.
I thought yams and sweet potatoes were the same thing, so that's why I said that. But do they make yam fries?
Not that I'm familiar with.
I don't know.
Though that might be an interesting experiment if they share common attributes.
They make lamb fries.
Yeah. Can I ask you guys a quick
Those
question?
are testicles,
Yeah.
by the
Do
way.
you guys like the McRib?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
It's not my go-to.
It's okay, yeah. It's pretty decent.
Because I have a friend who has bags of frozen McRibs.
Oh, okay.
And
I know where he
Is he
lives.
trying to get rid of them?
He's like, hey, come by and grab some after the show today. But I'm not a huge McRib fan.
I
I grab them for you.
I'm like Nick. Listen. They're okay. They're fine. But it wouldn't be my go-to.
I said, how do you get those? He goes, I got a guy.
I got a guy.
I got a McRib guy.
Wait,
Does this man dress as a clown?
McRib is from McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he has a bunch of them from McDonald's?
That he's frozen.
He's got a guy.
He's got a guy, Kath.
confused.
Yeah, me too.
He's got an inside guy at Mickey D.
Listen, I work for McDonald's. And I have some connections.
So I'm going to bring him in sometime. We'll cook him up, all right?
I bet you Hamburglar's his guy. Because if anybody's going to steal from McDonald's, it's Hamburglar, right?
He'd be the number one
Right?
culprit, right? Or the number
Or
one
maybe is
suspect.
that too obvious?
The yam burglar.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the bizarre file.
Go for it.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you this morning by Liberty Safes of New Jersey. Keep all your important keepsakes, like McRibs, safe at home in a Liberty Safe. Liberty Safes of New Jersey, Route 130 in Bordentown or Route 73 in Mount Laurel, libertysafesnj.com. All right, stick with me on this story. This is a lengthy one, but I think the payoff is worth it, okay? When Kelsey Haas fell into an open patch of icy water earlier this winter, she didn't panic. It was her first time falling through the ice, but as a guide and an avid adventurer, Haas did know a few techniques for getting out of frozen water. But none of those techniques involved the carcass of a snowshoe hare. Okay, so, like a large rabbit.
Yeah.
Okay. So Haas was skating to the Greywink Glacier with a group of about a dozen others. The massive 13-mile-long glacier has become a popular destination at Kachemak Bay State Park, especially in winter. After a boat ride, it's about a 2-mile trek, partly over a frozen lake, to get there. The 29-year-old hiking and rafting guide had been there many times before in warm and winter months, and her friends were also experienced adventurers. They had throw ropes, rescue gear in tow. They were testing the thickness of the ice with ice screws. And while she was exploring around the glacier, Haas found the carcass of a snowshoe hare on the ice. She thought it was kind of mysterious. She said it wasn't warm, it was super stiff, but it wasn't like I wanted to eat it because I didn't know how it died.
You can't just pick up a hare and eat it.
It was interesting. There were no puncture wounds. Haas decided to hold on to the carcass, okay? So that's important. She wanted to take it home to skin it and save the fur. Later, as the sun was about to set, Haas and her friends discovered an ice formation that Haas described as a perfectly picturesque arch right in the middle of an iceberg. She said, we all knew that it was really thin ice and that it wouldn't be a good idea, but the arch was so beautiful and tempting, she wanted to skate through it. If anything did happen, Haas figured that there was a trained group of well-equipped people who could help, and she had extra warm clothes in her backpack, so she tempted fate and skated through the arch as fast as she could. Instead of thin ice, though, she found an open hole.
Oh, my God,
So she fell into it. She said her instincts kicked in after she fell in the water. Instantly cold. She knew that she had to go back the way she had come toward where the ice was at least somewhat stable. She knew that she had to position her body horizontally to pull herself out of the water. A dry bag that she carried on her back had air inside, which helped keep her afloat, and she still had the dead hair. She said, I don't know how I didn't let that go. So she was holding on to the dead hair. When she reached the edge, she slapped the hair forward onto the ice shelf.
Wow, how can she slap?
Listen, let me finish this. The wet carcass quickly froze onto the cold surface.
That's amazing.
And she used that frozen snowshoe hair like an anchor to pull herself out of the icy water.
That it froze that quickly shows you how effing cold it was.
Yep, and she was out before her friends could help. She said, I just looked at them and I was like, I just have to skate as fast as possible and work my body temperature back up. Once she made it back to the shore, there was a group waiting for her. She said it was like a pit crew. Everyone swarmed me. She said they took off all my clothes. I looked like a giant marshmallow. Haas said one of the biggest struggles was taking off her ice skates because the laces were frozen solid. She remembered 3 people tugging on each skate, struggling to remove them. After she was able to get her skates off, she still had a 1.5 mile hike to the water taxi. She said, my coldest thing were my feet. On the hike back, my feet were definitely pretty numb the whole way. And while she was able to laugh about the situation immediately afterwards, she said it definitely affected her days later. She said, anytime I close my eyes, I have kind of a flashback. As for the snowshoe hair that she used to pull her out of the icy water, she said, I want to make slippers out of it. Definitely want to make slippers. So she's going to do that.
Initially said the story, Preston, I thought she might use the hair as like a pick, like the teeth. Like
Right. Yeah. I know. That's why when I initially read this, I'm like, where is this going to go? How did this help her get out of there? I thought that was pretty wild and definitely deserving of a bizarre file place. All right, this is messed up. A white secretary at a Louisiana school abruptly resigned from her position late last week after making racist comments about Martin Luther King Jr. Day in a text conversation with a coach. You can't believe what this woman said. In a Monday Facebook post, Walter Gino McLaughlin shared a video that included an image of Neumann Fontana, the office secretary at Uchita Parish Junior High School, along with a screenshot of the alleged text messages, which referred to Martin Luther King Day as N-word Day.
Oh, yes.
She actually wrote that out and texted it to someone.
The response is interesting, too.
Local outlet reported that the messages, which were confirmed by officials, were sent to a coach at the school who was stunned by what they received. In the screenshot message, she informed the coach about the upcoming Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, and she wrote, N-word Day, LOL, Mark Luther King. And then he writes back, huh? Say what? Where did that come from? And then she responded with, remind your players that Sunday is off and it's for Mark Luther King Day, Monday. And she continued to appear to confuse King Jr.'s
That's got to be
name.
safe, right? She's thinking to herself, yeah, this is no problem. I can send this.
In a letter Monday, the principal confirmed the secretary's departure to parents. Community members were quickly to say that racial issues at the school run deeper than one official, and many felt the secretary should have been immediately fired instead of being allowed to resign.
Right, yeah.
So just messed up. Effing people, man. Animal rescuers in New Jersey said that they are investigating the origins of an unusual non-native animal picked up in Monmouth County. It was an alligator case.
In Monmouth County?
This is in Cape May, yeah.
Was it let go from as a pet?
The Monmouth County SPCA said in a Facebook post that a member of the public called the organization Saturday night to report an alligator in a plastic container in the empty lot next to his home. The young alligator, they said, was brought back to the shelter and given a clean tank that allowed proper air circulations being kept in a climate-controlled area.
I think it's a developer.
The alligator will be transferred to the New Jersey Division of Fish and Wildlife shortly, and the alligator is believed to be a pet that was abandoned by its owner.
There you go.
And alligators and caimans are not legal to keep as pets in New Jersey. I heard they might be giving it to the Cape May Zoo.
Oh, okay.
Casey, so
there you go,
we'll
man.
be able to go and visit it.
Stop going to Florida. Hang out in Cape May.
I don't want to see them in captivity. I want to see them in the wild.
In their natural habitat.
Running across the prairies.
All right, in one last story, I have this. This is a great one. The University of South Australia has fessed up to an embarrassing error after promoting the quality of its studies in design and with a design Actually, it's a design fail on their banner. So this is huge. It's on a big building, these huge banners. The branding installed on the side of its Adelaide building was meant to read, "Success will be of your own design." But there was a bit of a typo because success was spelled with an A instead of an S. It's not even, you can't even pronounce it. Success will be. But the way they responded online is hilarious. The university was able to have a laugh at itself, and they wrote in a comment, "A hit happens." Instead of S-H-I-T, they wrote A-H-I-T.
That's a great way to take command of it.
Totally. I agree. All right, and there you go. That's your final story in the bizarre file for you. We're going to take a break. We'll come back in a second. We'll see if you've been paying attention. We have a lesson question. We'll get into trash and music news as well. Stay put.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Press junket, and one of the guys, this guy, the blacknerds.com
Oh,
guy,
yeah.
he has a website called blacknerds.com.
Right.
And he was serious. He was like, I'm basically here for all black nerds. Give us a place to come, and we basically reside here, and we talk about things, But as a gamer, he was talking about himself as a gamer. As a gamer, I'm a different type of person. This world that I'm in, Kevin, I respect you for going there because it's me. I'm above a platinum level. I'm actually on the game that I play. There's a diamond level, and there's only and we didn't know what the hell he was talking about. We're like, hey man, ask me about the movie, man. I don't know what you talking about, man.
The scene I was referring to when I introduced you guys is you're both interrogating this guy, and Cube, you're saying, you better tell me what I need to know. And Kevin's character decides to act like he's the crazy cop and just starts wigging out on the guy and accidentally shoots him. Your reaction, Kevin, your face, just the immediate switch it went off to, oh my God, I just shot this guy. And then Cube, you pick it up. He just shot you. That's right, how serious we are. When you did that scene, were you the one who pulled the trigger on the gun, or did they surprise you with that bang? Or
no? Well, on the day, actually, we were trying to figure it out because first of all, they don't like me with guns on the set. I'm the last person they want with a gun just because I just don't know how to handle them in real life. So Cube's like, Kev, hey, make sure somebody check Kev's gun, show me that it's blank. His thing is me shooting him by accident. So on the day, of course, it's empty, and we just sound affected.
Okay,
so it's just physical, and then after that, you sound affected at the end.
Damn, that was funny.
And the director is
Tim Story,
who did
Barbershop, Fantastic Four, and Think Like a Man.
Great movie. Now, Barbershop, I assume there was an improvisational atmosphere. Did you get to do a lot of improving on a movie like this?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I think when you get it right, you start off with a funny script that you're laughing at out loud when you're reading it, and you make sure that script is tight, but you do leave room for the actors to play. And Tim says, get it off the script once, and then y'all can have fun with it. And then, this dude, he don't stop. You know what I mean? He don't stop.
I improv because I can't read. So I basically, I have problems with my T's, H's, and R's. So I'd rather just wing it sometimes.
You got the Danny Glover thing going on.
If I don't recognize the word, I just go off book. That's my motto.
Kevin, I have to indicate how proud Philadelphia is of your success.
Thank you, man.
I mean, because you've been here in our studio before, and I remember last time you were here was back in 2009. You were playing the Tower Theater. That's a big room, and we were all impressed at how you were, continuing in your success on the way up. And then the next thing, you're selling out the Wells Fargo Center, man.
Yeah.
Dude,
it's
amazing.
It's unheard of, man. I try not to think about it because I don't want to go crazy.
Well, you know what? To me, you're doing it the right way because it seems like you keep you enjoy your work and you enjoy your personal life and you keep them both. Yeah. Because you don't, you're not. They don't get blurred. I think guys who let that get blurred end up.
I like Steve. I like Steve, man. Steve gets me. I like Steve, man. I don't know where Steve got his research from, but he ain't been wrong yet. Steve is all right, man.
Y'all should do the sequel together.
Me and Steve, chemistry is great, man.
Well, you guys are riding along and ride along too.
Right.
Maybe you're listening to the radio while driving through Philly.
I think so. I think so.
Or,
I'll take that.
Or Steve is the gamer. I don't know, something, man. We go to Steve's house. He's got all types of weird gaming artifacts.
You and I are drinking milk together.
Something. I like it.
I did want to say, though, on behalf of the city and everything, your generosity has been fantastic.
Thank you, man.
A whole bunch of computers. And there was that little incident where some of them were clipped.
Yeah, they stole them.
Stole computers. You're trying to do something good for the city.
Oh, son of a...
Steve, I mean, Kevin, you didn't donate the computers and then steal them back.
No, listen.
That ain't cool.
I didn't steal
Kevin,
them back.
that ain't cool.
Here's the thing. Let me tell you something about old Kevin Hart. See, here's the thing. You can't keep old Kevin Hart down. At the end of the day, I bleed Philadelphia. So at the end of the day, I step up for my city. And I understand where our public school system is, and I understand the problems that we're going through. So rather than being a talker, I took it upon myself to take my own money, $250,000 I did. I took it out of my account, and I bought the computers. I didn't want any help. I didn't go after sponsors. So being that somebody came in and stole them, all you do is motivate me to do more and to do it bigger. And at the end of the day, my job is to just give kids hope that are in the same position that I was in, that are coming up in the same community that I was in, to show them that, hey, look, you know what, guys care, people do come back. These guys don't make it out the city and just go on to do whatever. The fact that they still physically see me and they can still talk to me and reach me, that's all I need. I know that I'm reaching somebody and giving them that motivation. Cube, I'm such a good dude.
Yeah.
You are a good dude. You are a good dude.
All right, well, listen, the movie is opening up on the 17th. Like I said, it looks hilarious. And as Steve said, we're looking at a franchise, I think. I mean,
it looks that way,
It looks great. It's called Ride Along. Make sure you go check it out. Thank you, Kevin Hart and Ice Cube. Good luck with everything,
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it, man.
You bet. Let's hear it, man. Ice Cube.
I had somebody tell me yesterday, I'm going to bring it back to this. They were like, it was so enlightening to hear you guys talk about a female-based product, the menstrual cup, not fart jokes and porn.
Here we
But
are.
we're back.
And we just did it all.
Don't worry.
We did it all.
Absolutely.
Hey, this might be the perfect opportunity. All right, Marissa, I sent you guys this instructional video.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday. Did you watch it?
I heard you watching it in the office, and I could hear it, and I'm like, what? It's got to be some sort of sex toy or something.
So it's this bizarre product, and I sent it to all of you guys. And the subject line I used was instructional video. Please watch. Nobody got back to me. Like not one person responded to me, and I'm like, did I offend Marissa and Kathy? Well, I know I didn't offend Kathy because she was in the same room. But
that's a terrible feeling when you send out something you think, oh my God, did I cross the line?
Right.
And I wanted to watch it, and you were making such a thing about it that I wanted to not be distracted, and I never got around to it.
Marissa, see if you can grab the audio from that, and I don't know if it's fully. If we can play it or not, but there are specific body parts. I don't think it talks about insertion or anything like that, but it is this quote-unquote massage piece of machinery that is one of the most involved-looking things I've ever seen. If it's indeed made for, it has to be.
Back here is the carburetor.
Oh my God,
it's complicated.
Oh,
It is.
yeah, and it is there for pleasure, right? You know, if you make it all the way through, okay, you know, because things go in things and other things go in other things, and
there are some things that and we've talked. I remember one time we did. I think we were doing an appearance at maybe edging,
sexual term of edging or not. I haven't really.
On the surface, it doesn't. But do a deep dive.
It's so Blink 182 that I haven't really stopped to listen to it and see what it's really talking about. Maybe I'll do that someday.
Yeah.
In the meantime. We're going to see if you've been listening to our program this morning because we're going to ask a lesson question. We are going to give away a 4-pack of tickets for this for the Philadelphia Wings game this Saturday against Toronto Rock at the Wells Fargo Center. And I think I have to go with this. What word ranks just above Jell-O, pudding, and mousse? 215-263 WMMR. Creme brulee's in there somewhere, but this one's on the top, I think. So what comes? Jell-O, pudding, mousse, and then what? 215-263 WMMR. If you heard it and you know the answer, call now.
The trash business is a gold mine. 93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
All right, we'll await those phone calls. In the meantime, we'll get the latest in the trash. Steve, what's going on this morning?
Well, Tyler Perry is attempting to purchase a huge building next to Tyler Perry Studios that's slated to become an FDA laboratory. The The FDA is assuring Perry experiments will only be small and innocuous in scope, but did suggest his security purchased weapons powerful enough to kill dinosaurs.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Bonnie Bartlett Daniels, the wife of William Daniels, a.k.a. Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World, says they have had a completely open marriage for years, with both having countless affairs. In her new autobiography, Bonnie claims William would often have her play guess the celebrity by smelling his mustache.
Oh, my God.
And finally, Krista Cavallari, who divorced Jay Cutler in 2020, says she is completely done with dating football players. Cavallari says a steady stream of hulking athletes have left her having to trade in her vibrator for a jackhammer. That's your Hollywood Track.
We are going to go to the phones and see if we can get someone who knows the answer to this. What word ranks just above Jell-O, pudding, and mousse? 215-263 WMMR. The caller we're going to is Andrew. Hi there, Andrew.
Hey guys, is this Elvis's Fabric Emporium?
That's right, man. What are you looking for?
He loves fabrics.
I'd like to get 100 T-shirts with the following phrase: Jell-O, pudding, and anal, please.
Yes. You left mousse out, but anal is indeed at the top. So hang on, Andrew. You got it right. Love them fabrics, don't you, man?
That's right, man. Feel that. That's a silk all the way from Asia.
All right, Andrew, we're going to give you a 4-pack of tickets for the Philadelphia Wings game versus the Toronto Rock this Saturday, January 21st at the Wells Fargo Center. You can be there for 215 night when Wings celebrate all things Philly, and you can score great deals for the whole family with $2 pretzels, $1 hot dogs, and $5 beers. Get your tickets at wingslax.com.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
Dad, can I talk to you for a minute?
All right, I have several items in music news this morning. We'll start with Foo Fighters and Green Day, set to headline the Harley-Davidson Homecoming Festival in July. The festival will take place July 13th through the 16th at multiple venues across Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Foo Fighters will perform on July 15th at Veterans Park to celebrate the Milwaukee Motorcycle Company's 120th anniversary. Green Day will play the park on July 14th. Social Distortion, Fantagram, and Kenny Hoopla will open for Green Day on the 14th. And on the 15th, Cody Jinks, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, and White Reaper will open for Foo Fighters. So Foo Fighters adding more and more shows to their repertoire.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah. Dolly Parton revealed some of the collaborations for her upcoming rock album while appearing on ABC's The View earlier this week. The all-star lineup includes Paul McCartney, Stevie Nicks, Brandi Carlile, John Fogerty, Cher, Pink, Steve Perry, and Steven Tyler, just to start off with.
That's pretty crazy.
She says that she hopes that Mick Jagger will agree to guest on the project.
I might do it.
But she's already recorded a cover of a Stones song featuring both Pink and Brandi Carlile. I don't know which song as of yet, so she'd have to throw another Stones tune in there to get Mick on board, but I'm sure she would make that consideration.
Yes, absolutely.
The new album, simply called Rockstar, is expected to be released sometime this year. Dolly was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last year. She celebrates her 77th birthday today, by the way. Our buddy Bret Michaels has just dropped a new solo single. It's called Back in the Day. The Poison frontman describes the track as a modern-day throwback to a feel-good road trip anthem. The tune will definitely be one of the highlights of Michaels' set list during the 2023 Party Gras North American Summer Tour dates with road regulars Night Ranger and Jefferson Starship. Joining the festivities as well at assorted stops will be former Journey singer Steve O'Gary and Sugar Ray's Mark McGrath.
Have you heard this song?
I've not. I just read about it this morning.
We're watching the video.
I do not know this, if it's any good or not. We'll have to wait and see. Fall Out Boy announced on Wednesday that a new album will be out in March. And earlier this week, they revealed a new single for the video, and a new single and a video for Love from the Other Side. The band posted cover art, which features a dog attempting to eat bubbles. Through a press release from bass player Pete Wentz, he described the band and said that they've been at an ongoing art project for 20 years. The name of the album is So Much for Stardust and will be out on March 24th. Gene Simmons has praised ABBA for their undeniable songwriting. In an interview with Goldmine Magazine, the Kiss bassist talked about the iconic band's greatest hits and said, "If I'm riding in my car and ABBA music comes on, I turn it up, and that's the sign of greatness."
You are a dancing chicken.
They're
young and mean.
Their 2015 song, Dancing Queen, is in the Grammy Hall of Fame with nearly 400 million albums sold worldwide, 17 number one hits, and over 16 million weekly global streams.
This one
ABBA
goes out to all the chickens who love to get their groove on.
ABBA is one of the world's most successful music acts of all time, by the way. For those who may not know, if this is way beyond your years, ABBA was a juggernaut through the 1970s.
You can cluck.
Yeah.
You can scratch, but you can't really take flight. See that chicken over there? It's a dancing chicken.
That's how much Gene
He loves him.
Loves ABBA. That he's
You cannot argue
He's put his two loves together.
with the Leviathan. That is ABBA.
ABBA and chickens.
Did you ever see the movies? Mamma Mia 2?
No. I'm not into musicals really, except for La La Land.
Yeah.
So I never gave it a shot. Any good? Just watch them. Yeah.
I'd rather see an ABBA concert.
I mean, they did really well.
They did
very,
incredibly
very
well.
So, Gene also mentioned a few other artists whose songs stand out to him. They include the Beach Boys, the Bee Gees, the Killers,
of course,
and the Four Seasons.
All of them are good. Everybody else stinks.
Speaking of the Beach Boys, they will be honored on February 8th with the taping of CBS's Grammys Salute to the Beach Boys.
Kokomo is a perfect song.
Perfect song.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right at the beginning, it lists various locations that people would love to visit.
Aruba, Jamaica.
Yep, that's right.
Ooh.
There they are, yeah.
Ooh, I want to take it. Come on, pretty chicken.
Tickets are available for the event, which will be happening in Los Angeles at the Dolby Theater. Although details remain scarce, during a chat with Consequence of Sound last month, Rivers Cuomo of Weezer spoke about the band's involvement in the upcoming TV event. He said, "We're in the midst of figuring out which Beach Boys song we want to cover, and oh my God, it is incredibly fun. It feels so good to play and sing these songs, and I'm reminded of how much I used them as a model when I was first starting out writing songs for Weezer."
I told you I watched that documentary, the newest one with Brian Wilson, where he's driving around with his multi-decade friend who's a writer for Rolling Stone, and they drive around to different areas that have a importance to Brian Wilson. And there are points where he's like, we need to leave now. Like he would get, it would be too emotional. Yeah, so he goes because he loves this guy so much, and they're going into like restaurants and he's beaten a lot of his demons where he can be out in public, and there are people coming up to him who are, rabid fans, and he seems very able to process that, which is not what the case used to be.
Well, he got rid of that quote-unquote doctor, right?
Oh, Dr. Landy or whatever the hell his name was is a nightmare.
Right, and ruined most of his life or a lot of his life. From this documentary, Steve, it seems like he's in a pretty good place?
A much better place.
Okay.
He has a tremendous amount of respect, but there are, Nick, in certain points, you see those old demons scratching at the surface that are what he has to deal with.
Right.
Yeah. He's such a fascinating guy.
Yeah. All right, I have one last story. We had this in entertainment news, but this is so sweet. I need to run this through again. A young cancer patient named after the hit song Hey There, Delilah got a surprise of a lifetime when Plain White T's singer Tom Higginson showed up in her hospital room for a one-on-one performance. He posted the video, or someone did, on TikTok, showing 8-year-old Delilah's reaction. Is now putting smiles on faces around the globe. Higginson said that when he was approached to visit the little girl in Los Angeles, it wasn't a question of if, but only when. And you can hear, and we'll play the audio here. First, her parents show her a video of Tom saying, "Hey, it's me. And, I'd like to play you the song, Hey There, Delilah." And then he goes, "Hang on, wait a second." And he was actually in the other room, and he comes walking, wearing the same shirt and everything. Yeah. He comes walking in, and we have the audio of it. It's very, very sweet. Where's this going to play, Case?
On the Box Pro.
the Vox Pro? Okay, so here we go.
What's up, Delilah? It's Tom from Plain White Tees. I hear you're a big fan of our song, Hey There, Delilah, so figured that I would play it for you right now. So here we go. Actually, you know what? I got a better idea. Hang on a second. Hi, Delilah. Hey there, Delilah. What's it like in New York City? I'm 1,000 miles away, but girl, tonight you look so pretty. Yes, you do. Times Square can't shine as bright as you. I swear it's true. Oh, it's what you do to me. Hey there, Delilah. Here's to you. Yeah, Delilah.
I don't know how he got through it.
Yeah, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. It's just so
there should be
wonderful, so sweet.
Rule in the universe that kids should not have to deal with cancer.
Oh my God.
Dear Christ.
I know. It's just not fair.
Yeah.
Period. But that's just super sweet, and I love when somebody does that. Does anybody know, I'd heard about that song from the Plain White Tees, that he had written that. He had met a girl, and she had said something like, hey, if you write a song about me, I'll go out on a date with you or something.
Yeah, she's
and he wrote it in a night.
Yeah, supposedly she was from Conshohocken.
Yeah.
And this is what I've
Did
heard.
a morning show?
She lived on 8th Avenue. And she met him out at a bar, said, write a song about me. He did. And that's what the song Delilah is supposedly about.
And got the huge hit out of it. Wow, interesting. I wonder if he ever got any or not. Have you ever hooked up with her? You know?
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
No.
I mean.
And that's probably what cornholing's about.
What cornholing is about?
There's other fun.
Yeah, they follow up hit.
It's not just a game, it's a sex act.
Oh, my God. Maybe we'll find out.
It's a little less innocent than the...
Those of you who were crying a moment ago.
You're not anymore.
Not anymore.
Welcome back.
Yeah. All right, that's the last item in music news. We are going to take a break. We will come back in a second. We will wrap up the program and letter of the day for the Word of the Week prize, which we give away tomorrow.
Yay!
With Pierre Robert. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
After 2 years, the strangest...
Talking about sending things to people, and I have done that. I've sent things to you, and I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. And then I go, oh, wait, no. She has sent me the picture of that guy sitting on the on the side of his bed
with his giant penis.
with his giant thing hanging out. I'm like, okay, I think I might be safe here.
I love when they will insert. They will have like a dignitary at some meeting, like in Parliament, and they will insert that picture in one of the frames behind him.
Dude, the latest one, it was a COVID test.
Yep.
And I sent it to Kathy. I'm like, dude, I think I came back positive, and she's like, dude, I got this like 3 days ago.
I didn't say that. I sent you a screenshot of the text that Preston sent me
I had
that
already
said,
sent
I
it
think
to
I
her.
tested positive.
There was only one person I wanted to send that to, and that was Kathy. Yeah, listen, I bought Kathy for one of her birthdays, like a butthole polisher one time.
Aw.
Right?
Yeah,
I thought it was nice.
Right?
Yeah. So you can't cross the line with her. No. I don't think so.
No, there's. I don't. Yes, I don't get offended by anything. I don't think it's all funny, but I don't. Right. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I don't get offended if you get me a butt plug.
Like I've lost. I traded in, and I've always said this. I say of offensive things all the time. I do not have the right to get offended. You know, it's just it's my deal.
Right.
If I dish it out, I have to be able to take it.
Right.
But if Kathy ever wanted to get us fired,
Oh my God!
Jesus. Oh yeah, there's so much ammo. It's not even.
I mean,
Then all you have to
remotely
do is
funny.
show the text from her on the phone.
Yeah.
You'll be reinstated.
I will also
my mind.
I will also think of the time that you put a Sharpie in my butt crack, and you don't remember that, but I do. I'm
No.
like, yes.
Did I draw on your butt?
No. I was like bent over, and my crack was showing, and you were like,
Wow. Okay.
Do we have it over the audio?
No, I don't. Are you editing it?
It might have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you don't need to. We don't need to hear all of it. It's just I want to get the tone of this guy that is doing the narration for it. That is actually the instruction. It's like he's being as serious as you can possibly be about it.
I love that.
And talking about this stuff that's just like
It's like these things. We never play these fully, but
Dad, can I talk to you for a minute?
yeah.
There's a much longer piece of that. But I love. And
What
the
is
other,
what is the exact product?
I don't
It's like
even
a pleasure
know.
device. It's something you buy for, and
It's
there's
got to be extremely expensive
Yeah,
because it's super
I
complicated.
was curious as to what the cost was, but it's for the front and the back and the underneath.
Simultaneously?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
is
the
it
thing
like,
that goes
is it
in
like
the
a
back-
Sibian?
The thing that goes in the back, no, it's like nothing you've ever seen before.
Is it a revolution in home entertainment?
Like I can't even explain it.
Okay, so remember when we were talking about packing a flounder before?
Yes,
Okay.
uh-huh.
So there's essentially this thing that packs a flounder for you, but it's there to
here we
stimulate things.
Oh.
So it,
Okay.
But it's just wild that, like, Press, you talk about the narration, but like somebody also had to animate this,
Yes,
Like,
there's a professional animator with it too. Here, I'll play some of it.
Before using the Shinfly full coverage men's massager, all body parts in contact with the massager and the massager itself shall be fully cleaned.
Uh-huh.
Music.
After assembling the massager, lock the rear massage bar in the initial position, adjust the front massage bar to the maximum angle away from the body, and tie the belt at the waist.
There's a belt.
Smear
Okay.
the orange lubricant on the anus and
Oh,
surround.
whoa, you got to watch that one.
She missed that.
She missed that one.
That's okay.
I would say
The anus sensor. Yeah,
So
It is funny what we can and can't say because it's all technical terms.
it is.
You
But
know,
we've got there are some we get away with murder in so much.
And
that
I
guess-
it's-
skin.
Yeah.
The surrounding skin of the perineum, thigh, inside, and all surfaces of massage head in contact with the skin uniformly.
Okay, that's all we're going to play.
So initially when I saw the picture of it, I thought it was one of those office chairs that you sit in that doesn't have a back to it, but it's actually a device that you wear. You can wear standing up. There's a pin on it like a grenade.
I would need the instructions for this device. What the hell?
You have seen nothing like this. I want to get one of these in the studio. Do they have a price?
No, but I'll bet you it's a few $1,000s. Look at this.
So
Wait, I'm sorry.
See, that wraps around.
is that supposed to go over your Johnson?
There you and then it goes up and
There
down.
you go.
Watching the animation. But what I can't figure out is the seat part of it.
The seat looks like a ski boot.
It does. It looks like a ski boot.
So you sit on a ski boot.
Hey,
while it.
Without looking behind you, Steve, who do you think is in the studio now?
Bill?
Yes. He just came into the studio. He's shaking his head. He's
He
not
has
happy.
one of these.
It was his birthday on Sunday.
He came in to clarify.
he's going to let us know the price.
What do those things cost, Bill?
You should get one that instead of a motorcycle seat.
Bill, honestly, have you ever seen anything like this in your life?
You know, I'm in my office last night, long after you've gone.
Right.
I listened to the Kathy Menstrual Cup segment because I missed it live.
Right.
What'd you think? It's pretty straight ahead, right?
No,
There was look. It's like, well, I actually looked up. It's been so long since we've talked about FCC and the liability of obscenity and all of that stuff. It hasn't been a conversation. I looked up the definition again, and I think you guys are dancing on that line because it has something to do with sexual or excretory activities and organs, which is what
There's nothing sexual about it. I mean, it's all
it deals with
biological, if anything.
It deals with a sexual organ.
Right. Yeah, like a Wurlitzer.
By my by Kathy's very apt description of what that does. Anyway, and you're doing this today. I'm like, I dumped the lubricant on the thing.
Yes, which we would only.
I gotcha.
Our agreement with you is always we'll swing for the fences and you excise what you think is appropriate.
People are wondering what the name of it was. Again, I'll play the beginning. Just it says the name of this.
Before using the Shinfly full coverage men's massager,
Shinfly full coverage men's massager.
So I need to imagine because so much of this is written and appears to be in Mandarin, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely an Asian product, I believe. But it's got subtitles, which brings us full circle to the conversation we started.
Says great for dads and grads.
Oh, jeez. Okay. All right. So today's discussion just kind of brought me back to those good old days where we're really working the dump buttons. But
good.
Yeah. So
By the
maybe
way,
a
Bill,
Preston
go
and Steve logo in the merch shop, in the rock shop. You know, we could make some money on this.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Slap it on there.
Again,
and you could be the narrator. Bill's a great narrator, by the way.
Yeah.
He does wonderful narration.
I get all.
Wait, hang on. Let me
All
sell.
body parts in contact with the massager and the massager itself shall be fully cleaned.
I think you're better than this guy.
Yeah.
You'd be
I
perfect.
don't know what you want from me. Santa's got to go.
All right, I'm gonna go.
Santa's got to go. All right, so you need to see this thing. You need to do a search on the. Hold on, what was the name of it?
I mean, it'd be easier to go out and get a girlfriend. than set
Yes,
this up.
By far.
Just putting this thing on, just all the straps and hooks and various things you need to put together to put this thing on your body is more work than going out and trying to get an actual relationship.
And what do you think? It's like, you're at the office. Can I come in? No!
Before using the Shinfly full coverage men's massager,
Shinfly full coverage men's massager, Marissa.
We're sharing it on all of our social media.
Okay,
accounts,
all right.
so
You
can
gotta
find the
see
link
this
there.
thing. There's nothing full on graphic.
No,
about
everything
the
is-
animation, but I mean it's
suggested.
It's certainly suggested, but I've never seen anything like this product before.
I mean, there has to come a point about 3 minutes into using it where you just feel like the lowest scum on earth.
Or you finally found the
euphoric.
greatest thing
Yeah.
that's been created by man.
Honey, I want a divorce.
Wow. Okay. All right. Eddie Vedder is heading out on the road tomorrow night in support of his new solo set, Earthling. Vedder kicks off a 9-date run at New York City's Beacon Theater, although he played a surprise show last night, right, Nick?
He did, yeah. He was in a place just outside of New York City, and the Earthlings were with him, and that's Chad Smith and Josh Klinghoffer and a few other guys.
93.3 WMMR. Wrapping it up for the day.
I'm David Bowie, and there's not one food that's not made better by pretzels.
He knows.
He agrees with Nick Sunband. That's amazing. Let's see. 10:36. The program is ending, and I would like to thank our guests on the show today. We had joining us in the studio Mike Gemp, who is the Philadelphia Auto Show director. And Mike came by and gave us some of the details. The Philly Auto Show, which is going to be PA Convention Center on January 28th through February 5th. And get your tickets now, phillyautoshow.com. They got a lot of great stuff for you to check out.
When he's on the show, Preston, we should have him in a box and we should say, bring out the Gemp.
Bring out the Gemp.
Yes. Missed that opportunity.
Next year.
Yeah.
It was really cool also to have Stephen A. Smith on the show today. He's got a new book out called Stephen A. Smith, Straight Shooter. He will be at the Philadelphia Free Library today, starting at 1 o'clock. You can get information at freelibrary.org. And he was a great interview.
He was.
Really cool. I know he's a very opinionated guy, very
verbose.
Yep, and he was great to talk to.
Yes.
We had a really nice conversation with him, which is cool. Pierre's here.
Ask him about any music that he likes.
No, I never got to music.
Oh, yeah, we did. We talked about Rihanna
Beyonce.
and
Yeah.
Beyonce.
That's true, yes.
Yeah. Why?
Just curious, what music he would like.
Yeah. Oh, okay. He loves Beyonce.
People that you don't think of in musical terms, in terms of their notoriety, I sometimes wonder what they listen to.
Yeah.
Like, there's that big Anderson Cooper interview with Prince Harry. I wanted to ask him, what music do you like?
That's good. That's a really great path to head down because people's music tastes can open up little treasure chests about their personality.
I actually love that Pina Colada song.
David Bowie. Wow.
I got Bill Clinton at a Sixers game for about 60 seconds in motion. I don't know. God knows where that one is. And I said, Mr. President, what are you listening to musically? And he goes, wow. And the Secret Service guy tries to stop him. He's out of office, so it's an older, slower Secret Service agent,
It's not the whole troop.
It's
Smaller entourage.
Yeah, we're much smaller entourage.
He's in a
Bill
wheelchair.
was flying commercial at that point. There's no Air Force One.
Yeah.
I got in the path, so he had to walk right past me in a narrow hallway. Mr. President, welcome to Philly. You having a fun time game? What do you like to listen to? And he goes, well, I can't do the imitation of him, that accent, but Stevie Wonder.
Okay.
Came up. So
that's awesome.
You never know.
Yeah, you do never know. All right.
If you like pina colada,
I like that. That's a good song. See, because he found out he really loved his girlfriend and she loved him. They found out.
Yeah.
But they went in the song and dance before they found out they were perfect for each other.
It's about people cheating on each other, so you might.
It really makes me want a cigar.
Oh. All right, shall we do the letter of the day?
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
The Preston and Steve Show is brought to you today by the letter
C as in calculator.
All right, and we have one more to go. One more letter, and that is it. And we give away our Word of the Week prize and Impractical Jokers Mega VIP Grand Prize Pack. This includes the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to introduce Q, Murr, and Sal to the crowd at Freedom Mortgage Pavilion on Friday, February 3rd, by the way. And you get to meet and greet with the guys. You get a backstage dressing room to chill out with some snacks and drinks. You get 4 of the best seats in the house, transportation to and from the show, and a merch pack as well.
Nice.
Preston and Steve present the Impractical Jokers Drive Tour, which is Friday, February 3rd at Freedom Mortgage Pavilion. Tickets on sale now via Ticketmaster. We give that away tomorrow, which is cool. What is on the show today?
Well, we will have another signed copy of the Måneskin album on vinyl, Rush, which comes out tomorrow. We've got a Weiss $50 gift card to give away for that fine store. Workforce blocks of the Struts, Janis Joplin for her birthday, Alice in Chains, and a breaking news item. Our my MMR 40th anniversary Christmas card is in the mail.
Yay!
Except it's a year late. So on the back of it, I say, thanks for 40. I had to cross it out, and it goes 41.
Oh, my goodness.
But it is in the mail, so dear listeners, be looking for it if you have received it in the past. And male men and women, if you have it in your bag, let me know.
All right. Will do. I would like to thank our sponsors. Preston and Steve Show is brought to you today by Dunkin'. The Preston and Steve Show runs on Dunkin'. Also brought to you by Acme Markets, fresh foods, local flavors, and by Fred Beans. Make your vehicle resolutions a reality with Fred Beans Expressway, where it's easier than ever to purchase your next vehicle online. Tomorrow, give away that Word of the Week prize. It's a No Sad Bro Friday, so you never know what's going to happen. You'll have to join us. That's it. We're done. Rage on. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.